That's definitely how we go. Good morning to you. It's a beautiful Wednesday morning. It's the 21st day of May 2025. Another chance to serve you nothing. My name is always Lily Mohammed. Please buckle up and be my guest. Let me start by motivating you this morning. Our motivation this morning is by Ralph Waldo Emerson, who says, write it on your heart that every day is the best day in the year. So make every day count. Now, let me help you improve your English language writing and speaking. Kind courtesy, Nirain and Nanama.
Today's word is T-E-E, T-O-T-A-L-L-E-R, teetotaler. It's a noun. A teetotaler is someone who does not drink alcohol. Let's exemplify it. Many people are surprised Terry is a teetotaler even though he loves the party. Teetotaler.
That's a very good example, by the way. So you have a new word in your vocabulary, teetotaler. If you don't drink alcohol, then I guess my mother is a teetotaler. She's never tasted alcohol before. It's now time to pump you up with our video of the day.
She's on.
GHOne OV van has been one of the best vans I've used personally in this country. It runs a system where we are able to run on Dante to be able to do our broadcast mixed well also from this van.
I've used this OB van for quite a number of big productions, i.e. 3 music awards, the late President Rollis' state funeral, Emmys Africa Awards, and a number of them.
My experience with the GHOne van has been the state of the art equipment they have. Personal experience is you can use it for both indoor and outdoor, all events, conferencing, like anything you need a van to work for you, GHOne provides it.
My experience with the van has been very good. Why? Because it has a number of facilities that I may not get in other vans. You know, the van has a very wide bench that can accommodate all my technical crew, ICCU, switcher, graphics, CG, and all of that. And then it also has a studio, a green room studio that comes with TriCaster. So if you want somebody to do commentary on a live event, you can put that presenter who's in that studio as well and get that running.
To give an experience to our audience, we're also watching on TVs and online. Work with an Exo technology system, which makes your video mixing with Panasonic cameras, like a lot of other stuff in terms of content you need to get also for your live broadcasts.
I prefer the GHOne van to a lot of other vans I've used, or even doing my own setup on a tabletop setup, because on a production you see a number of people in the van, and so if you have a very small van, it means that it's going to be choked, and that will affect the creativity as well. The price has been discounted as well to accommodate varied budgets, and so no matter the budget you have, I understand you can have the truck and do business with it.
It looks huge but very affordable. Cost is really affordable. My experience with it, EMI Awards last year, super excellent. Try it, call them, and I'm going to give you the best of price. Really affordable.
That's Crusade by Donzi and my all-time favorite, Kofi Kinata. That takes us to Inside Out. On Inside Out this morning, we talk about another decongestion exercise being done by the current mayor of Accra, Michael Kpakpo Alote, where it started yesterday. It's a week-long exercise. Now, the most critical question is, how long will this continue? Is it just a 9-day wonder? Now, during the exercise, the mayor went around some principal markets of Accra, and he asked a lot of the traders to go off the pavements and the shoulders of the roads. This is not the first time we're seeing this. As far back as the 1990s, even under GHOne Rawlings, we saw decongestion exercises. Notable ones we saw, even under former President Kufuor, we saw Stanley Niaji Blanks, then mayor of Accra, even go ahead to build a pedestrian mall. But to what extent? Traders always come back. And President Mills's tenure, we saw decongestion exercises. President Mohammed's first tenure, we saw decongestion exercises. And one that you always hear is Abaye. You always hear the word Abaye, or the phrase, the catchment phrase, Abaye. However, few weeks, months later, these traders are back on the pavements, they are back on the shoulders of the roads, and creates nuisance on our very roads that we ply. Commuters struggle, drivers are struggling. There's a new mayor, there's a new sheriff in town. I'm sure that's not too long ago. We even remember the then Greater Accra Regional Minister who embarked on similar exercises to rid the city of insanity. Today we're seeing a new mayor. What is it that we're missing? Is it a case of recalcitrant traders? Is it a case of unavailable alternative spaces? Is it a case of expensive malls? Is it also a case of commuters or pedestrians who have insatiable need for things at the stretch of a finger? Why are we unable to rid the city of these insanitary conditions? Mind you, when they are on the shoulders of the roads or on the pavements, they create huge nuisance to all of us. Very often, it makes it difficult for drivers to ply through, and so it creates huge vehicular traffic. Before today, go through the Makola area. Goodness, if you're a driver, you go through that area, it will take you hours. For a stretch that ordinarily should take you minutes, it will take you hours. But authorities lacked policy direction, or probably they lacked the political will. We're seeing a new mayor. Some say initial gragra. Is it just an initial gragra? Is it just a show off? I am the new sheriff in town, or he's going to sustain it? Will the people that he's taking off the shoulders of the roads or on the pavements not go crying to their various MPs or assembly members, and they'll come back to the same mayor to restore them back or allow them to ply their trade? Same script, different date, different actors. Will we ever as a country come to a conclusion where we say that we're doing this, we're sticking to it, regardless of what the consequences are? Actions come with consequences, yes, and a lot of these things have political consequences. Are these people who've been put there by political actors willing to sacrifice their jobs, willing to sacrifice what many will say, if you don't allow me, I won't vote for you, willing to sacrifice their votes for the sanity of our communities? Well, that's the question it begs. That's it for Inside Out. All right, from Inside Out, let's head to the court. Well, you know that what they are doing is illegal, right? So let's head to the court. And So, all rise. We're in court. Kati, good
Court's
morning.
ready. Good morning, Lily.
How are you?
I'm good, Lily. How about you?
I'm doing awesome.
Great.
Awesome.
Today is Wednesday. Tomorrow is Thursday.
Yeah.
And the following day is Friday.
And then the week has ended.
So you're in the middle of the week.
Yeah, to say week in a bukef.
Those days when they said month in the bukef, it also means another thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It means that in the middle of the month, and you know that very soon you'll be paid.
We will get salary. Yeah.
Anyway, what's up in court? What happened yesterday?
Yes.
Interesting events.
Very, very, very interesting, Lily. Sometimes you sit in.
I don't want to be held in content. I don't want to be held in content. So the thoughts I have, let me suppress it.
Excuse me. So yesterday, a number of cases that came up in court, and the first one I want to talk about is in respect of the Sky Train. Yes, $2 million we are being told that have been paid. A state has in fact lost that particular sum of money, and so 2 persons have been held responsible for that. Solomon Asamoah, the former chief executive officer of Ghana Infrastructure and Investment Fund, then Professor Christopher Ameya Ekunfi,
who's
the former board
very
chair.
much of a household name.
Absolutely.
I grew up listening to his voice. I grew up hearing his name, and I'm still listening to him, and I'm still hearing his name. That's quite an interesting.
I remember way back in secondary school, we're still hearing the name Professor Christopher Ameya Ekunfi and all of that. So, but Lily, since they were first charged on the 13th of May 2025, about a week ago, now it was only the first accused person, Solomon Asamoah, who was present in court. The second accused, that is Professor Christopher Ameya Ekunfi, was absent. Why was he absent? He was absent because his lawyers informed the court that the day he was supposed to be in court, he had to be rushed to the hospital because of ill health. So Justice Comfort Asiame, and upon listening to the Deputy Attorney General, Dr. GHOne, on the first day, so that is Mr. Solomon Asamoah, in the middle there, being led by, you see there's a police officer accompanying him, which means that as we speak, he's on bail. He's been granted bail, 50 million Ghana cedis. But he's not able to meet the bail condition.
Oh, really?
So he's still in custody, yes. He's still in lawful custody. So yesterday when he came to court, he was being accompanied by the police officers and all of that. And yesterday, Dr. GHOne, as you can see on your screens, was also there. But the points, the sit or the business for yesterday was for the second accused person's plea, Professor Christopher Ameya Ekunfi's plea, to be taken, because at the last, when they first heard the case, the judge adjourned the case to have his plea taken because of the fact that he missed the very first day. Now, we were in court yesterday. We're looking forward to see Professor Christopher Ameya Ekunfi, but he was missing again. Then his lawyer, Duke Sasu, addressed the court on that and said, at dawn before the court sitting, he had information that the man had been rushed to the emergency ward. And that even made the judge wonder. At the last court sitting, it was similar, the very similar prayer you made. It looks like when the case is about
the case is about to come in, then the man's being
goes high. Absolutely. So anytime the case is about
he's an 80-year-old man, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, he's aged. So
but 80-year-old and every time so it's very similar to issues we've had in the past. Every time high-profile people have cases in court, they always
issues with ill health. I've remembered a lot of the cases. Some are on surgery. They have to visit their doctors within specific days and all of that. So all those things come to play when such high-profile cases come to court and all of that. But yesterday, what happened was to the effect that after the judge observed, Justice Comfort Asiame observed that it's looking like anytime this case is about to come on, Professor Ameya Ekunfi is then taken to hospital. Then the Deputy Attorney General, Dr. GHOne, came in and said, look, we have looked at, the judge observed right, and that was exactly what was captured on the records at the last court sitting. In fact, the very first day they were charged with 6 counts. And so for them as prosecution, they will not impute anything. They will not want to put meanings into that. But what they want to say is that, in fact, lawyers of Professor Amoakoh proposed that Friday will be good enough for them. And the Deputy Attorney General said, oh, we do not want to impute anything. Friday is not too far away. We want to oblige them. Friday, when we come, prosecution will address the court how to proceed, especially with respect to the second accused person having not been in court. The court said Friday, it doesn't want to give short adjournment. So instead of Friday, then the party should come rather on Monday.
So that at least you have time.
Absolutely. So May 26th, the case is expected to be called for Professor Christopher Amoakoh's plea to be taken in relation to the role that he played in Ghana, allegedly losing some $2 million US in relation to the Sky Train issues and all of that.
I hope that he will be hailing at.
Yes. We will pray that he will help. He'll be strong.
He's not being charged or anything. These are allegations.
Absolutely.
So just come and prove that. Oh, indeed, I had nothing to do with it.
It's as simple as that. Once you are charged, it doesn't mean that you are guilty. All that is required is that there are some questions that you need to come and help
answer.
the court. And it is for the person who is alleging, and in this case is the Attorney General, the prosecution.
Proof,
absolutely. They have to really prove that, and the allegations that they have leveled against you, you are supposed to be there listening to that. But if there's a case established against you, that is when you are supposed to open your defense and all of that. So 26th of May, Justice Comfort Asiame, Criminal Court 4 will sit, and then this case will come out. So that is the Deputy Attorney General moments after the case was adjourned, having some interaction with some lawyers at the law court complex. So that is it with respect to the SkyTrain matter.
Okay, all right. What next? Yesterday you mentioned that the high-profile robber,
allegedly, the alleged high-profile.
The alleged high-profile robber who was arrested was supposed to be in court. The court didn't sit, so the case was going to be called yesterday. What happened yesterday? What's it called, actually?
So yesterday the case was called eventually before the criminal circuit courts 11 before her Anna Basilia Ajay Tewia. And in fact, yesterday when the court sat, the plea of the accused was not taken. Prosecution was led by Assistant Superintendent of Police, ASP Amoakoh, and his prayer to the court was that investigations are still ongoing. We want to reserve the plea of the accused, in fact there are two, reserve the plea of the accused persons and then conduct further investigation. However, during the time that they were taking a caution statement for it, they noticed some strange behavior, some strange occurrences, some unusual information and all of that. That the accused person, the second accused person, Adinda Akpo.
Oh, not this one.
This very one.
Oh, this is the second accused person.
Yes, this is the second accused person. This very one on your screen there. Defecates and eats his own feces. And I was at the court. Excuse my language this morning. I just have to tell you what really happened in court and all of that. So that's his prayer was that.
He did this in court?
No, not in court. But that was the information that was being laid to the court by the prosecutor, and so he was making the prayer that the court should rather commit him to the psychiatric hospital for mental examination, because a human being behaving like this in the eyes of right thinking.
Yes, apologies.
Yeah, just forgive us.
I need to turn to laugh, but this is quite funny.
But you know
when they were allegedly committing the act, they were not, excuse my French, defecating and eating.
I remember when I posted this story, and then the comments that were coming, oh, this one is format.
Of course, I mean, and all of that. I don't want to be.
But what is clear is that the court, upon hearing the submission from the prosecutor, committed Adinda Akpo to the psychiatric hospital. The psychiatric hospital is just not far away from us here. Yes, for mental examination to ascertain whether he's indeed sound or not, because the kind of information that was being given to the court about his behavior, his strange behavior, his unusual behavior, it is not one that the court ought to take lightly. So in respect of his case, his plea was not taken in respect of robbery. He was charged with facing a charge of robbery, and the other accused person is facing the charge of abetment to rob. And in fact, we have been told that his modus operandi enters your house, gunpoint, and in fact, he's been alleged to have stolen some $200,000 from the complainant. The complainant, we are told, works at the Rich Hospital, also not far away from us. Because of the nature of the case, we will reserve the name for now. And then some jewelry, some items that were taken from all of them, quantified in monetary terms, including some cars and all of that. So in the coming days, we'll get to know more. But the court said that he should be in the custody of the NIB. So we'll know more when the outcome of the psychiatric examination test comes out, and then the results is linked to the court. So as you can see on your screen, that's him being taken away from the premises of the court. So that is the information we've been told, that he's put us some strange behavior and all of that. So because of that, he has to go to the psychiatric hospital for mental examination daily.
That's quite an interesting. Anyway, other cases that came up, the former second ladies.
So when this case came out, if you look at the ways, the processes, the means, the modus operandi in respect of how this alleged robbery was took place, if you compare to the former second lady's case, it's a similar routine. Okay. The manner of the robbery looks very similar. So at one point in time, before I even got to know the identity of Adinda Akpo, many have made reference, isn't that the same person who is alleged to have robbed the former second lady and some four others? Then we begin to look at the dynamics and all of that. We realize that no, if you look at the ways and means by which the former second lady's issue came out and this very one that we have at hand, they look very similar. But the point is that they are different accused persons and all of that. But in the coming days, the truth will come to bear when the trial actually starts. But Lily, I've been telling you about this case for some time now, and I did mention that prosecution had made a prayer to the court for the high-profile persons, for instance, the second lady, the former second lady in the matter, to testify in camera because of how traumatic the whole situation is and all of that. And lawyers of Yahuza Osmanu, the accused person, opposed to that and all of that. Justice Nakizita Kowakwashi has actually agreed with prosecution to allow Mrs. Emisa Arthur to testify and some others to testify in camera in relation to this very case. But today, the case is coming out. In fact, it came up yesterday and it has been adjourned again. So in the coming days, we'll follow up, and when the trial starts, we'll monitor that closely to let you know. But what is key is that now prosecution's request to have Mrs. Emisa Arthur's testimony taken in camera has been granted.
Let's look at some of the cases coming up today. Last night, we learned that there's a fresh injunction on the processes to hear the removal of the CJ.
Yes, if I'm against the committee. But just before I come to that particular committee, you note that on the 6th of May, the Supreme Court sat, a 5-member panel of the Supreme Court, heard Vincent Ekwa's interlocutory injunction seeking to have the suspension of the Chief Justice revoked by the president, or the warrant that suspended the president issued to suspend the Chief Justice revoked. Now, by a 3-2 majority decision, the Supreme Court dismissed that. Today is the day that the Supreme Court is expected to give us their full reasons for that particular decision that they have taken. So we'll be monitoring that closely. Then we can find out, we can get copies of what indeed the situation at the Supreme Court, the reasons that the judges assigned to their decision, which is that particular request from Vincent Ekua be dismissed by way of a 3-2 majority decision. So that is what we expect today. Then the point that you have made, a private citizen has also issued a writ at the Supreme Court on the 15th of May. It was filed. So this one is in respect of the Ekua, absolutely. So on your screens now is the copy of the processes that have been filed. And if you look at this whole thing, he is challenging the committee set out, the 5-member committee set out by the president to investigate the petition, the 3 petitions against seeking the removal of the lady chief judge. In fact, the committee had its first sitting last week, Thursday, and it's expected to sit again tomorrow. Tomorrow the committee will make its second sitting. By respect of all that is happening within the committee's work and all of that, the Supreme Court, we are being told, is likely to hear another injunction, this one targeted at the committee, Justice Gabriel Palmer's committee. So we'll be following through all of this to see what will happen at the Supreme Court by way of this very injunction that has also come up.
All right. What else is coming up in court today?
I'm sure a lot of people will remember Ben Lord Abibio.
Oh, the Kaswa Millennium City murder
case. So that case is still not gone yet. We are not done yet. The trial is about to start. Prosecution.
The trial is now about to start.
Yeah, now about to start. Wow. So all that they were doing the preliminary processes. So one of the sittings, he has to empanel, select his jurymen and women. He's done that. Prosecution has addressed the court. His lawyers has addressed the court and the jury, and then his lawyers have also done say. So now case management complete have started and all of that. Today he's back in court, and they will know more when he appeared in court in relation to this. So, but where we have gotten to, the trial is just about taking off in relation to this. So these are some of the cases that we should keep our mind on. And on Newsroom and our subsequent bulletin, possibly tomorrow, we'll bring you all the updates and all the cases that took place in court.
Certainly. Thank you very much, Captain, for those updates from the court. That's Mutala Inusa with Court Today. He's our legal affairs correspondent. Let's bring you the latest updates in sports next. All right, so the man who's always outside, well, he's been recognized outside, but this morning he's inside. GHOne Cedi. Good morning, GHOne.
Good morning.
And congratulations.
Thank you.
Please tell them why I'm congratulating you.
I've been made or appointed the media and administrative officer of the Blind Sports Federation. So
he's a big man.
Yeah. You remember, I think in March I talked about go ball when the Gusa Games was happening, and it's a sports where they blindfold the players, and then there's a bell in the ball where you have to kick the ball. So it's that sport that we are going to try to let people know about.
Okay. That's the man. GHOne Cedi's the time.
Well, I mean, it was actually on the back of the inauguration of the first ever para-swimming federation that Mr. Samson Dean inaugurated yesterday at the office of the African Paralympic Committee.
Okay.
And then it's actually headed now by Madame Aishati, and she's going to be well, good morning to you too. Mr. Elina Mansawe says that he's watching us from home and he enjoys GHOne Sports.
Okay.
So good morning.
Okay, Mr. Elinam, good morning to you. But please, don't call us when we're on TV.
Yes.
We do appreciate that you watch us. We love you so much, but please don't call us when we're on TV. Anyway.
So that was what happened yesterday, and a lot of other federations actually under the African Paralympic Committee, and a lot of the media attaches were given to this federation. So with the aim of propagating that gospel, and you know, it's disability sports, and they need a lot of help, and I mean, we'll try, we'll do our best. Yesterday I told a lot of people that thank you for the messages, but then when we come to you for support,
please open your doors.
Yes.
I agree, absolutely.
Okay, so let's move on to football, because yesterday GFA launched the 5th edition of the U17 KGL Championship, and Kekeli, he's been doing what, I mean, see if someone does well, let's say that the man is doing.
Oh, as for that one, you cannot take it away from him. He knows what he's doing, and we must give that to him.
And so he spoke. Let's get to listen to GFA President Kekeli speaking yesterday at the launch of the KGL U17 Championship.
Addressing guests at the launch, Ghana Football Association President Ket Edwin Simeon Okraku expressed gratitude to KGL Foundation for its consistent backing over the past 4 years.
Years ago, when nobody in Ghana believed in the vision of the Football Association, KGL Foundation came through for us. So my sincerest appreciation goes to the leadership led by Elliot for your commitment towards the revival of the Ghanaian game, especially and most importantly, your avowed commitment towards offering these young boys the opportunity to realize their dreams. Indeed, the KGL Foundation has stood tall in support of youth football in Ghana. Through your unwavering sponsorship, you have not only fueled this prestigious tournament, but also brought countless young dreams to life. Your investment is not just financial. It is a bold statement of belief in Ghana's future. The KGL Foundation has become the bedrock upon which the GFA has become or has been able to re-engineer coast football and elevate the standards of talent identification across our country.
Right. So congratulations to the GFA and the KGL 5th year running. We hope it continues, and then we can discover some talents in there. Now you can see me, Manchester United. Yes, just this morning, and I wrote this behind, and someone says, "What's that?" So I did my own sounds. It's the ADZI.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And tonight we're outside. Manchester United will be outside. Tonight, and taking on Tottenham Hotspurs. So first off, because you're a United fan, I am a United fan.
You know.
And we're going to play the United anthem. No one can do us anything. Yes. So let's start off with the Manchester United anthem tonight. No matter what. I am ready. Yes. So that's not that's not like, let me tell you a short story. A man was speaking to a lady for 3 hours. Speaking, okay. And then one guy just walked in. Then he sent her to the room. And whatever happened. Who won?
The Manchester United fan.
So that's not like the man who was speaking with the lady for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And then tonight, if United wins, we'll be like that man who sent the lady to the room. So tonight,
I have a clear case, but
okay. And then guess what? United fans are begging Onana, and then they are So one of the fans went into the dressing room, and then was begging the Jesus of Onana, today, dear, we dey beg you, Onana, today, dear, don't disappoint us. Let's get to watch that video. Onana throws ahead of tonight's game.
Why,
So and then we the beg Onana, we just the beg. We hoping that he does well for us. So that game will be at 7 p.m. tonight. It will be live on Kasapa 102.5 FM as well. And then I really forgot this. I should congratulations to Joel as well.
Oh yes,
yes.
Congratulations,
How come? Yes, Joel Champon. He's actually going to be on the executive board of the National Paralympic Committee. That place for the big men.
So Joel is a big man.
Yes, it was a big man. It's a big man.
Congratulations to Joel Champon.
Yes.
He's the head of sports here at the EIB Network. Congratulations, Charlie. The sports people, Charlie. EIB Sports. We did.
Yeah, we did cook. Okay, let's end off with some basketball and start off from some local basketball because yesterday was interesting. Let's get to see the results from yesterday. I told you about GRA and the police, and I told you that if you want to enjoy some good basketball and you have maybe someone or your mom or your friends, get to Elwak and watch some basketball. So yesterday, the Navy beat the Reformers 43-40 points. Ladies basketball, and it's so great when you see the ladies shoving the friends, jumping and throwing the ball. And the Aces lost to GRA 31-74. And then in the men's category yesterday, yes, the biggest game. We thought it was going to be close, but then no. The policemen. The main Kawi. All the noise. Hey, massa. Yesterday, GRA puts them in their place. So it ended 67-43 there. And then let's get to see the fixtures coming up this week. So yesterday's game already happened. GRA versus Police. We'll see today at exactly 4:30. Cold Store, that's the name of the team. They will take on University of Ghana, and then Air Force would play at TUS or Task, and then BSA on Friday take on Knights, and then it goes on and on. So today, Cold Store taking on the University of Ghana. It's a big game at 4:30 p.m. So enjoy some basketball this evening at the Elwak Sports Stadium. Let's end off finally with the NBA playoffs. Yes, the NBA playoffs is in its finals, and the Eastern Conference Finals was very, very exciting. And the Thunder beat the Timberwolves in Game 1. Yes, as Alexander scored 31 points. So 31 points are scored by the young man there. And so Game 1, yes, actually went to the Thunder there. Well, let's see how it goes. Oklahoma City Thunder beating the Timberwolves in Game 1 there. So just like how we saw the semi-finals go to Game 7, you never know, it might go to Game 7. We see how it goes. So that should do it for the sports chat this morning. Do join us on the game at 1 p.m. and we'll talk Manchester United and talk some other sports here on GHOne TV. My name is Jones, ADZI, and thank you all so much. I'm on fire, Mohammed.
Thank you very much, Jones, for that sports chat. That's it for sports chat with Jones IG. Let's look at what the newspapers are reporting this morning. We begin with the Daily Guide newspaper. Bawumia Mohammed clash over Cedi stabilization. SkyTrain trial. Professor Amoakoh rushed to the hospital again. UTAG UG demands Auditor General's resignation. Lands Ministry partners Asantehene for high-level mining summit. The Daily Graphic. Nation risks more revenue losses. Tech-led tax systems key. Experts at national dialogue. Break short-term development planning cycle. President charges the National Development Planning Commission. Ghana card blocks prison graduates from national service. Inmates appeal to Parliament to intervene. Local government minister cautions public against Boko conflict commentaries. That's a good call. The Ghanaian Times, getting rid of street beggars, uphold children's right dignity. That's according to Child Rights International. Ghana committed to reformed business environment, President Mohammed is saying. Venture Capital Trust Fund invests 359.6 million cedis in 20 years. The Daily Statesman, wrongful rent alawa payment. Chief Justice Tokunu refunded 118,000 cedis. 49 other judges did same. Government credits Gold Board with Cedi's performance. Bawumia admits past shortcomings. Asenso Boachi hosts successful constituency clinic in Bantemes Asenso Boachi. The new crusading guide, government 24-hour economy agenda under threat over power instability. That's according to the minority in parliament. Oversight or overstep. Dr. Stephen Amoakoh flags Adongo's dual role, flags conflict of interest in his BOG appointment. Standing ovation for Bawumia in London for admitting and also apologizing after NPP defeat. Gold Bond has started fulfilling its objectives, as according to the finance minister. Ghana Water Limited has no contract with Edubohine. That's according to the MD for Ghana Water, Adamuta Wakilu. The Daily Searchlight, low morale and ability in play. Police present as NIA manager is shot and burnt. Police act against Galamsey, destroy 120 Shangfang machines. Okay, and a host of other stories on the front page of the Daily Searchlight newspaper. And that's it for what the newspapers are reporting this morning. Please grab copies on your various newsstands, or you can simply go online and read all about them. Alternatively, you can log on to starfm.com.gh. We have a host of stories there for you to read. I take a break here. When I return, you know it's a Wednesday. It's an all-female ensemble here on The Breakfast Review. Please stay tuned.
GHOne OV van has been one of the best vans I've used personally in this country. It runs a system where we are able to run on Dante to be able to do our broadcast mixed well also from this van.
I've used this OB van for quite a number of big productions, i.e. 3 music awards, the late President Rollis' state funeral, Emmys Africa Awards, and a number of them.
My experience with the GHOne van has been the state of the art equipment they have. Personal experience is you can use it for both indoor and outdoor, all events, conferencing, like anything you need a van to work for you, GHOne provides it.
My experience with the van has been very good. Why? Because it has a number of facilities that I may not get in other vans. You know, the van has a very wide bench that can accommodate all my technical crew, ICC, switcher, graphics, CG, and all of that. And then it also has a studio, a green room studio that comes with TriCaster. So if you want somebody to do commentary on a live event, you can put that presenter or host in that studio as well and get that running.
To give an experience to our audience, we're also watching on TVs and online. Work with an Exo technology system, which makes your video mixing with Panasonic cameras, like a lot of other stuff in terms of content you need to get also for your live broadcasts.
I prefer the GHOne van to a lot of other vans I've used, or even doing my own setup on a tabletop setup, because on a production you see a number of people in the van, and so if you have a very small van, it means that it's going to be choked, and that will affect the creativity as well. The price has been discounted as well to accommodate varied budgets. And so no matter the budget you have, I understand you can have the truck and do business with it.
It looks huge, but very affordable. Cost is really, really affordable. My experience with it, EMI Awards last year, super excellent. Try it, call them, and I'm going to give you the best of price. Really affordable.
Welcome back to the show. This is still GH Today here on GHOne TV. I am Lily Mohammed. It's now time for the breakfast review. On the breakfast review this morning, you know it's a Wednesday, so it's an all-female ensemble like I always say. And it's good to see the ladies again. I missed them. Kekeli is a member of the NDC communications team, and Dr. Amoakoh is a member of the NPP communications team. She was in charge of the health manifesto for the NPP in the 2024 campaign. Good morning, ladies. It's good to see you again.
Good morning, Lily.
Good to see you too. I miss you.
Yeah, I missed you all too. But let's talk about Ghana, shall we? The Mayor of Accra and the Greater Accra Regional Minister have started a decongestion exercise. It started yesterday. It will continue throughout this week. But the question on the minds of many, especially me, is this going to last? This is not the first time we're seeing this. We saw this under Rollins. We saw this under heavily under Kufuor. Stanley Niaji Blankson was heavy on decongestion exercise. He was everywhere. He even constructed pedestrian malls. These people, these students came back on the pavements. Very often people say, oh, it is lack of political will, it is lack of policy direction. What really do we lack? Let me start with you, since it's your government.
Yeah, good morning to viewers and yourself. And Pia. For me, I was always waiting when Accra, the list of mayors and MCs and all that hadn't come. I was quite disturbed because going to the election, the Greater Accra Communication Bureau, we had a chance of visiting all the 34 constituencies in Greater Accra. And when we got to the Juju, we went along the Katamanto stretch of the road, and it was bad. So I asked one old lady who was selling just in the middle of the road, Ma, auntie car bar obeying. So, as far as she said it in Tree, we are not voting for you people because we've heard that when you come, you take us out of the street. So the first question I asked her, how will you feel when there is a car coming, or the car's brake just fills it, and every other person is running as old as you are? Can you also run? And say, Merura Wakasao. So it's not like they don't even have stalls inside the Katamanto. They do. But I don't know, like we were saying off air, that we just want an arm stretch something, just buy it and all that. I don't encourage that. For me, I have always been against even buying in traffic. It's not like we don't want those people to also get something doing or anything. But I remember this Kaswa toll booth. There was an accident, a car that just broke loose and killed a lot of people, thinking that at least they'll be off that place for some time. Following that, they were back. And I asked myself, are we not human beings? Don't we get scared? How do we feel when you are not the one selling, but you are in town and the whole place is choked? And funny enough, we don't even have the right to even stand in front of them to even bargain with another person or want to talk. What's the meaning, my friend, leave this place and all that? The way they will even shout on you. And I'm like, how? So for me, I've always been... entitlement. Seriously. I've always been worried. I met one of the guys when they had this fire outbreak in Katamanto. Apparently, they all have stalls inside there. So I asked him, after this, why would they want to come back onto the roads? And you see people, I don't know whether... it's a special something coming around taking money from them, and I don't think it's from the AMA. Why would AMA want to give tickets to people selling in the middle of the road? Now most of our roads have become a one-lane something. We have to struggle over that lane with cars when the pedestrian whatever has been taken over by hawkers, by a store. Sometimes they just put up certain structures along the place and it becomes a permanent place. The pedestrian whatever mall at Circle, what happened to it? Most of them are closed down. Now they've given it to maybe seamstresses or hairdressers. They cannot be by the roadside, so they are now operating in some of the shops. This morning I used the place. I was trying to look for something, so I used that place. And most of the shops are closed. Most of those small things, structures they've been abandoned, and all of them are back. And one guy was talking to one lady, and she was like, "You're free then I'm and so I just looked at her and said, I'm getting late, so let me just move. Because I wanted to even ask her more questions. So what do you also gain sitting in the middle of the road when pedestrians can't even have access to the place? So for me, I'm encouraging the mayor and the regional minister. They've said that it's not going to be a 1-day, a 9-day wonder, and they will make sure. Some of us, if they don't do, we'll be on them. Because we want to see Accra back to the Accra we knew growing up. We are not saying people shouldn't eat. Where were you before you came into the road? If you didn't have any place, please go back to the assemblies or wherever. Try and get a decent place. Yourself, for your own safety. Look at the dust. Look at every other thing that they come in contact with. And you bring it home.
Only when it rains, the inconvenience.
Seriously. You see the Carnation overpass. You don't even have space, and the most annoying part is so I always my daughter, so when she's with me, let's go. I said no. Sometimes we have to get things done properly, and people are like, we too no, and you get people supporting them when they are not doing right. I don't know what happened. Like last week I passed through and I realized that now they don't leave they used to leave the things actually on the there. But now I saw that they pack it. So I've been asking questions, I have not gotten answers, whether they've been stealing them or something is going on. But we are begging the mayor and the regional minister. Accra has to. There's a lot to be done. Look at Circle. It's become a brothel. Open brothel, and it's an eyesore. So how can you even bring somebody, a tourist from wherever, and you want to use those areas? Is this the capital of a city we're speaking about? This one, when I was coming, I heard a sister station speaking about how those little girls on the streets, how those people had been cleared, and it is not right. I said, people just want to be speaking.
Oh, the street beggars?
Yes. I saw one Uber driver. She asked for money and we didn't mind her. When the traffic, I think when we tried to move, she just hit the Uber driver on the head. And I'm like, how? And you see, because the traffic was green, there was no way you could stop. And these are the things we are being faced with. And when we are trying to decongest, we are trying to do the right thing. People are talking and we want to make politics out of everything. You know, Circle wasn't like that. So we lost 2016. The day we lost, the following day at Circle, most of the areas, we are back onto the streets.
But is it not a cycle? Even after the NPP also lost, some people felt that now it's Yabai, so the pavements, the shoulders of the roads.
No, I don't, because the shoulders of the road for 8 years had always been occupied, so there hasn't been any new additions. For me, I'm not trying to even blame anybody, but that perception of entitlement that we have in this country is my party that is in power. So whatever I want to do, I have the right to do it, and nobody can stop me. My government is in power, so I'm back onto the roads, and we will look on. We say nothing. So one of the days after Wednesday, this thing, not here though, I went to Katamanto with the MPP lady, Frida Ajiman. And she was like, hey, this one, dear, it's bad. You can't even have space. This, is it ice cream, this thing, drove on her legs. And she was like, so is that what people are going through? I said, yes, I'm happy it is your government that is in power and this thing is happening. At least you've come to see. So when I'm speaking about it on air, you won't tell me that I'm lying on trying to make politics before the elections. Okay. And you see, so please, we are begging the mayor. They should be on the morning, afternoon, evening. You know, some of them, they will just pack back when they realize that, oh, the place is quite, people are, so it's like, then everybody starts scattering. And what I've realized over the years is some of them will come and be taking monies from the traders. So they kind of organize. They come in the morning and they'll take from everybody and put down. When they come, they give it to them and they are gone. Those things should be checked. If we have cameras, if we can put cameras at certain places to be monitoring some of these guys, we have to make people pay for whatever they do. If we are resetting, we have to reset properly. We are not trying to take food from anybody's mouth, but they have stores, especially the Kantamanto people on the street. I have issues with them, and you don't even have the right to complain when there is no space. So we have.
But another question is alternative spaces for these people. You talked about a pedestrian mall. You talked about certain stores in Kantamanto, but it's just a few that belong to those people, these traders on the roads. A number of them do not have the stores because their complaint is it is expensive.
It's true, some of them don't have, some also do. I was speaking to one of the guys one early morning. They said they come in the morning to the roadside before 7. Then they will come and do their donkomi. But before the shop owners come, then they leave and go back inside the Kantamanto or wherever they sell. So some of them do have. But what I realize also is because I am selling here and nobody has come to say anything, I just go and call Ekua. Oh, Ekua, or there's a space here, just come and also start selling. She hasn't gotten a store, but I've moved from my store, started selling here, and it's comfortable. Nobody says anything. Then I'll go and bring her. Oh, but seeing you come crying, yeah. Then she also comes, she joins you, and we are selling, and nobody says that is where we have the issues. But all those people who have, they should go back. And if you don't have, what were you? If you don't have anywhere, try and get places. If I'm sure no matter what, they'll be able to, if maybe they go to their assemblies, get them spaces inside the car parks, lorry stations and all that. And
but even the lorry stations, like Rollins Park, for instance, is a lorry station. You see a number of traders there. The
everywhere
do not even have access.
Places to. Was it meant for parking or selling? How do the people get there? You see, that's a mistake we make. Then we wait when the people are
many.
Then now we want to take them out. The Agbogbloshi place, we took people to the central region. Some of them are doing well. Others decided not to go. And they were just around making sure that they will come and go. Now they are coming back. Are we going to wait when the place is now full, that somebody is being called a bad name, or the government is being told that things are not working? Where were the assemblies? I was speaking about filth when the NDC took over. It's like the assembly went dead. Nobody was working. Nobody cared. Whatever was when everywhere was filthy in this country and nobody was saying anything. So I started asking, where are the assembly members apart from an MC or a government appointee? The rest, where are they? Were they not employed to work? Are they not supposed to be civil or public servants? Are they supposed to wait for what's the name, a government appointee before they do work? So some of these things have to be looked at. Whoever is in charge of whatever must be held responsible when things go wrong, because they will not go do things and they will ask us politicians to come and sit on there defending them. Some of us will not do that. So for me, I am so happy they are doing this. When I heard it, I said, I wish I had the strength. I wasn't feeling too. I would have joined them because we want to see things being done properly. We want to see things being done right for the nation. Not for any particular party or for any political gain, but to make sure that myself and those people, do you know what happens? They sit there, they eat, they drop the thing in the gutters. Some of them poo, it's in the gutters. They wee, it's in the gutters. And the floods are here with us. And you see the kind of things we see in the gutters, in the rivers and the streams. It's as a result of these people. When you look at the people sleeping in kiosks and things, where do they wash? Why do they poo? Why do they wee? It's the same place. So they look at this place, especially, I don't know where, there was a video sometime going around this year, I guess, of this Aboboya, those people who carry our refuse. When it was raining, stood by a gutter. And my prayer was that the water will just sweep him away. So that when you go, come back and come and do that. And these are the kind of things, we see it in homes. I remember there was this guy, a TV repairer. He will wait. Those ones that people are not coming for, that's condemned. He will wait when it's raining. Then we'll start pushing them into the ground. Where will it end? Where are we expecting it to go and end? So these are the things we are facing and it's our doing as a people. We can't blame anybody for it, but as you see it, you speak about it, and people in your area, you become an enemy to them. Why should I live in a flood prone area? So I know how this thing, my house is full of water as I speak sitting here, but I had to come because I have work to do. We are trying to, I've spoken to Nadmu, if we can look at the layout of the area and see what we've started some gutters, and it has really reduced some of the things. I would have used boots today getting out of my house if not for some of those gutters. So we are asking that we as citizens ourselves, it is you who is living there. It is your mother, your sister, and whoever who is living there. So let's ourselves do something before we expect the government to also, when we are crying, what did you do?
Okay, all right. Doc.
Yeah, so this morning I hoped that we would stray off, trying to shift blame on this matter, because as you rightly said, it's something that most governments have made an attempt towards. I sat here and I just did a few Google searches, what has been going on. As far back as 2018, you see AMA intensifies measures to rid pedestrian walkways of traders. Decongestion should not be a 9-day wonder. Today, you are fired. In fact, the Accra mayor fired a few people for not enforcing the rules properly. So let's not sit here and behave like this is something new that just fell from heaven. It's something that always goes on. But something I always try to think about is that if you do the same thing and you get a certain result, you don't get the result you want, there's something wrong. It just means the approach you are taking is simply not working, and it requires some tweaking. You can't keep doing the same thing and expect a different result. It doesn't work by magic. So it looks like since as far back as 2000, we've been trying to sack traders in an attempt to decongest. What usually happens is that after some time, the enforcement will go down and the people will come back. Because contrary to the perception we are trying to create that all of them have stores, I don't really believe that. Most of them do not actually have any shops. Wherever their corner on the pavements is literally their shop. So how do we get them somewhere that they feel like they'll have access to markets as well? Because sometimes you build a market for them, it's far away. The problem is they are not getting access to people passing by to buy their stuff as quickly as they used to there, and they come back. So that's the problem. How do we tackle this issue? Obviously, I don't want to use the word nuisance, but if you happen to be driving towards Makola, so for us, the council, the Medical and Dental Council is at Makola. It's one of the worst things I hate to do whenever you need to go there, because just from that roundabout to the council, it can take you 1 hour, and it's like a 5 minutes walking distance. So obviously, it's a nuisance. It takes away from the beauty of Accra, and it's something we need to work on. But this whole almost populist approach of just doing something for the sake of doing, I think it's about time that we move away from that, because I don't see how you are going to sustain this. Even worse, the mayor in Kumasi used words that I thought were so far beyond the reach of reasonability for a government official to use, to say that it's not even the police you use to beat them, you get your boys to beat them. Come on, they're also human beings. You can make the argument that what they are doing is not right, it's taking away from the beauty of the cities, but they are not animals. You cannot also seek to treat them as such. So I think this is something that requires us to sit down as a country, across the political divides. This is not a matter for politicization, because if you want to go down that road, we can go down that road. We are very capable of that. But it's about time that we start looking at the interests of Ghana. Put some people together. Let's think about how to be able to actually solve this issue, because it's not sacking them. How long, unless you put your idea of river guards, you have some street guards and they are standing every 10 meters. Even that, they will be corrupted. They will start taking money.
The assembly personnel are corrupted.
Yes,
take money.
They will start taking. So it's not something that's going to work. It just looks like doing something for the sake of doing. And to me, that doesn't do anything, because in the end, you won't get the results that you are looking for. So it's about time that we sit down, put on our thinking caps, and find out how to really deal with this problem. Because it's not as easy as taking. I remember when I was young. Before
you always hear about it.
People there were canes, they were lashing them, which I thought, wow, this is not something you should do. They haven't stolen from anybody. Can we just treat each other with some humanity? But that was the reality, and it didn't stop the problem. It has never, I don't remember a time where, maybe it's the day that they may announce the decongestion, you see everybody run away. Maximum in a week, they are all back. So obviously, this is something that requires us to take a better look at it. Then it segues into our issue of the flooding and everything. The same issue. And to me, again, issues like that have been overly politicized. I was quite surprised to see some videos of the current president even seeking to politicize the floods. I think that's something that I wasn't paying attention as at that time. But I was like, that's how much we try to put politics into everything, into flooding, into things that, you know, people are now saying is a natural disaster. Obviously, having that rain and having the propensity for flooding could be considered a natural disaster. But people have been able to reclaim the ocean and build cities there, and it doesn't flood. So what is stopping us as a country from sitting down, putting our best minds together, looking at the topography of our land and saying, how do we go about this problem? And that's, to me, that's the only way to do. Because if you come and do politics, kick the ball, it's not difficult to come and sit and do politics and kick the ball. But then we are just dancing around the issue and nobody is solving the problem. I saw that a few people lost their lives. Let me use this opportunity to give my thoughts and prayers to the family. It's always something that is heart-wrenching. You go out, going about your day, you have so many expectations. You don't expect that your life is going to end suddenly on that day, and it happens. So I can only imagine the anguish and grief that the family are going through, and our thoughts and prayers are with them. I hope that the government agencies, NADMO and Ekua, are able to provide them some support, because in this moment of need, I don't believe anybody should be left on their own. And again, there was a task force set up for this matter.
Yes, headed by the Deputy Chief of Staff, Stan Dogby.
And again, in typical NDC style of prioritizing the settings and packaging over the source of the matter. Immediately, pictures were released everywhere of them going on a chopper to sea, and in just a few months after, there's been no progress. And what that seeks to do is, now people go and look at the videos of you trying to get some cheap PR, and it's like, what are you about? If you actually sat around the table and you actually tried to get to the bottom of it without seeking to score some cheap political points, like trying to show that you are doing something when you are not, which would have been better for the people of Ghana? Because we haven't heard anything after their recognizance mission. We don't know what's happened to it.
That is just preliminary. It's just the task force was instituted in March, I remember.
Yes, and we are in May. That's 2 months, isn't it? So, and we know that we are going into the raining season.
We are at the peak of it, actually.
Exactly. So these are things you can predict. So if you are given a task force in March, it's only easy to assume that the same way you could get cameras on you to take pictures, you look for a short-term plan to mitigate some of these things before and let people know or something.
That also suggests that previous interventions like Garrett, where we're giving facility of cumulative $350 million, it was not put to good use.
Exactly, and I'm not disputing that fact. I started by saying that there are always situations where we don't seem to get the results we want, and so I was expecting a priority on the matter and not on because I don't know what that photo op was about. I can see that they seem to have a penchant for that, but that's what I'm talking about, and that's you know that you are coming into a raining season. So what short-term plans did they have? Should there have been some communication to the people of Ghana on this matter? I mean, what do we do about it? And it does, I have to commend and admit that even with the activities of the bus stop boys and whatnot, it looks like some places had been desilted, even on Shiashi Road. But it was still flooded. So I'm beginning to believe strongly that the matter goes beyond our choked gutters, especially since places where work has been done is still flooding heavily. On that Shiashi Lane, when it rained, I think 2 or 3 days ago, there was...
On Sunday.
Yeah, it was very difficult even for traffic to move. So again, this is probably a city planning matter now. This is time to set a task force of engineers to actually sit around a table and look at it and try and find a solution and let's
now that we've dovetailed into flooding, even though we're talking about decongestion, but is it time to depoliticize certain institutions?
Obviously.
Because it appears that it's become cyclical with appointing people into certain very key institutions, and we are not seeing results. Is it time to look at that and have an entrenched clause or entrenched clauses in our constitution to cater for those?
Yes, I've always been an advocate of that. I've always been an advocate of certain things should be handled by experts in those fields. It's not everything that should be a political appointment. Like a city planner, it's not something that should change or be coterminous with governments. This is something that should be experts based, something that should require like a very long time of experience. You should be able to come up with your own team that is getting the job done. You report to whoever is at Jubilee House, but you are not working to their bidding, basically. I do believe that that's the best way to deal with some of these things. Even NADMO,
yes, I mean, even on Monday there was an argument here.
Even NADMO,
we should depoliticize and then put experts there.
Even
because a lot of these
because it has become a political appointment, and it's not based on merit. It's like a token that is given to somebody for hard work done during a campaign, and they go, and usually by no fault of theirs, they just don't have what it takes to be able to handle that. By no fault of theirs, because I mean that's not what they trained about. Maybe you're very good politicians, you're very good at campaigning, but these things are sensitive. So yes, I do agree. Maybe NADMO, city planning, all of this, setting up a task force that does not seem to be tainted by political colors. It's not everything that politicians should be adept at doing. Let's allow people that are trained to be able to do this. Because sometimes you even look around the world and then you see maybe they put together a committee of people and you see a Ghanaian there. In somewhere in Denmark or so, some of their reclamation efforts, you look at the list of people and you see Ghanaians there. So it's not like we do not have the people. Those people just happen to not be politicians, and so they are not given the opportunity to bring their vast knowledge and experience to bear. So I do think that is where the political will is required, to be able to decide that, okay, some of these things, let's leave it to experts. Let's pay them good money if you want to, because you can, if you are paying somebody that is an international consultant or whatever, you have to match what the person's earning power is. So you commit some money to pay it so that you can then demand results from them. But if you go and put a square peg in a round hole, it even becomes difficult to criticize him, because really it's not in his skill set. So yeah, I do agree with you on that point, that we should begin to take a look at it, because obviously what we've been doing to handle this matter is not working. I remember some time ago after Holy Child, there was a flood that turned into the fire and a lot of people died.
That's June 3.
Yes, and then there was a like a year mate of mine part of. So it's something that's it's really on our minds. And that time I think we were fresh out of school, we were just in uni or something. So it's something that was on everybody's mind. Lois, she lost her life in that. Lois, in that matter. So and now we've come back, fast forward so many years after, and we are talking about the death of another.
Exactly 10 years.
Yes, we are talking about the death of 5 people as well. Obviously, whatever we are doing is not working, and so it's about time we sit up so that we can avoid losing more Loises and everybody's loved ones.
Yes.
I saw that you're writing a lot.
No, somebody sent me something.
Okay, I mean, you're jotting.
No. This flooding thing. I was just showing your production team when we came. Didn't start today, but we are not saying that because it did not start today, especially with Accra. We should just let go. Like you said, a whole lot of money have gone into this thing, especially the distilling of the odor and all that, but nothing really has been seen. When we speak of the task force, sometimes it's kind of funny the way people want to always bring politics. Their mandate was not to solve issues of flooding. Let's put that one in a perspective, so that it won't be like they were tasked to go and do something about flooding and it never worked or something. Their mandate was to identify flood-prone areas and come and advise so that we know what to do and how to go about it.
But I am curious. A lot of these flood-prone areas we have known for years. I'm not sure there's any new area that we identify. A lot of them we have known. So if they were to identify flood-prone areas, obviously there were experts who were in certain key positions who advised them. It's been 2 months and nothing was done in that regard. That's quite
nothing. Their mandate they did. You saw them go around. They went back to the president.
We didn't do preventive measures.
It's not for them to do that.
No, but you're saying that they were...
I just want to speak about the task force because so that people won't sit in their homes and...
So I am trying to elicit something here. If they are to go about and find out or investigate flood-prone areas, advise, okay, these are the flood-prone areas. Obviously, 2 months on, we knew at that time we're witnessing pockets of rains, right? And so they were advising whoever, the experts, okay, this is what we identified. And I am saying that over the years, we've known about these flood-prone areas, I mean, since time immemorial. You live in one, and it's not new to you. So the information they gathered, did it just go and sit on shelves?
I doubt. Because look, my area like this, for example, it wasn't. We didn't have that issue till we saw indiscriminate selling of land or buying of lands.
How many years ago was this?
It started 2 years ago.
Okay.
So for all these years, we didn't have that issue. It rains and by morning it is gone. And you have, though, because it wasn't a tiled place and all that, so you have those mushy things, which is normal everywhere. But for now, you have water staying in your house, everywhere on the road and all that, entering people's rooms, those who have not been able to do anything about it. So in some areas, they didn't have some of these things. Look at Malam Junction. I'm sure everybody saw that video of the president and what happened? Because those are some of the areas that collect some of the water that come from Ebri and all those surrounding areas. And now people are filling it, or people have filled that place because they want to work there or they are comfortable staying there. So if ourselves, like I said when it came to this decongestion thing, ourselves, when we are buying the lands, do we take into consideration all those things? That this place, I have a friend who has abandoned her house, 6-bedroom house along the wager, because anytime they open the wager, she's in trouble. Everything goes away and she has to restart her life. So she has to, that place is now I call it a ghost house. Nobody is living there. But I'm sure then they didn't have those issues when they 15 years ago, because population increase, and we are not planning properly. Or our chiefs and all stakeholders, I think, must be brought to the round table. Ask them, before you sell a land, at least can we sit and plan the place you want to sell? It's not like this place, I realize that there's a space here, so somebody wants a land. And because we're also desperate to build in maybe a particular area, we just go and buy those lands. And here we are. At the Malam area, I went there after the president visited. They still haven't done what they were asked to do. It's still filled. That place, so where would the water go? It will find its way into our homes, our offices and all that. And we'll start shouting about it. And we are good at shouting at people and we want to blame people. So please, the task force were not asked to go and kind of bring solutions. They was to investigate to make sure that they know the areas and work on it.
But is that not part of the solution?
Yes, anyway. You know, but man, this is the first time I'm hearing those affordable houses. I've never heard that place had any flats before. This is the first time. I don't know those living there. Maybe if they have it, I've never heard before. So I've been asking. I was asking questions yesterday. What happened? So what is happening? We don't plan our cities. We don't plan our towns. We just build anyhow. We want a good place. I want East Legon. I want Westlands. I want this. And because there's a space somebody wants to sell for you, you rush into it. You don't even investigate those areas. We have been living in where we are for over God knows when. And we never had issues. So people started buying. They saw that, oh, the place is good. And you know, these are our brothers, the Nigerians. Because most of them are coming from waterlogged areas. They have experience in that. And they will buy it and they feel it. So the old people living there, you start now having issues. Do you understand me? So some of these things, they are not like they are old issues. We have areas like the circle,
the Odor area.
Yes, that had been an ancient thing, and so it will always be there. But does it mean that we can't do anything about it? So, did she account for it? No. But we are here blaming somebody 2 months.
Which money are we talking about? Which money are we talking about?
We are talking about Cecily Adapa.
No, I mean, you say she accounts for what for the money, and I'm asking which money are we talking about?
The money she was given to distill the order.
To distill the order. But I mean, at some point you saw machines there distilling the drain.
My sister, let me go on. But some of the things, this is not propaganda, because the people who do propaganda with everything is MPP anyway, and this is why we are where we are today. Because a lot of things that they should have done, you didn't do anything. Now you want to claim the good. That you built something, that's why we are building on it. But the bad you don't want to claim. If you had done something well and there was a good foundation, my sister won't be here. If a lot of things, please, when you were speaking, I was quiet. Respect yourself.
While you were speaking, she was.
I didn't say it doesn't mean that I didn't want. Please, don't let me go there. So if they had done anything good, or if they made sure that Accra and the areas that we were having issues, they had dealt with it, we won't be here today. Maybe it's for us to just come and build on. You won't be sitting here and be saying that somebody should put on their thinking caps as if you had one. You didn't have any thinking caps. That's why we are going back into the same problems you left. Problems you even created more. Because a lot of things could have gone on with the finance, the resources you were given. Once in 8 years of power, and within 4 months, you want somebody to do some magic, bring up certain issues, and it is done. Please, when we are talking about national issues, let's be serious here. Let's make sure that we are speaking to the conscience of the good people of this country. I'm speaking to people who are just buying land anyway. And they think that I need a land here, or I have some money, let me just buy land. You don't even care. The plan the area has, or anything.
Building and
you start building and you realize that.
And one interesting phenomenon currently happening is people building in Ramsar sites. I'm wondering,
who are those who sold those lands?
At what point did we start doing that?
How can we even do that when we know why those places were reserved? And behind our place, like 3 streets away, is supposed to be close to the Pamblos, and we are not supposed, but we still even see every night. Because of that, you never hear or see those cars bringing sand and stones and things. It's at night. When you are sleeping, you hear them, all the noise and all that. If you know you are doing the right thing, would you be building at night? And you see the Chinese and all that, the kind of things, and you have nothing being done about it. And so was it yesterday or 3 days? Somebody came to me.
Obviously, we lack political will, we lack policy direction as well.
And people are taking money for everything. They sit in the engineers. It's only in Ghana that we have engineers who wear coat and tie. Or suit and tie and sit in the office. When engineers are supposed to be on the field with their helmets on, with their boots laced, now that's flatter around. How many of them have we seen around? At least you are not politicians. It is your job to make sure that things are done properly. Sometimes,
but will the politicians allow them to work? That is a very critical question.
I remember Oko's time. Didn't he break people's houses? I remember along that time when those houses were around the Sakaman coming to the Malam market. I stay around and so on. So, you know, all those water come to our place. Do you know, I went to a funeral and the pastor was using that one to preach. So these are the kind of things. We have people, opinion leaders, who don't even want to understand what is happening. The chief who is selling the land, how can you even go to it? We are talking about politicians. We should talk about the people, our opinion leaders in the area. Oh, this one, please, can you not touch it for us? You see people pleading when the right things are not being done. How can we live in a society like that? And at the end of it, you want to blame the government or you want to blame the politician. Because at the end of it, we will come and sit here and come and defend because it's my party that is in power, or because I am an opposition, I have to come and speak against the. Meanwhile, some of them bought those lands. How many of those Ramsar sites were not bought by the MPP? We are in this country. We know their names. We have their names.
So if you have their names, why are you not going
at a point? Their names were published, and they said, "Why are we going after them? Why are we
but
going
wrong
after
is
them?
wrong. This is not about political coloration.
So that is it. So if we know wrong is wrong and it's affecting all of us, let's say maybe if I'm not living in a flood-prone area, maybe I won't be bothered. Maybe. Because I don't see it, because it doesn't affect me. I just get up, maybe move your car, and you are gone. But if you are there, or a relative goes through, sometimes the thing is, the council say, even if it's related to us, we don't care because I'm not the one. Do you understand? So sometimes some of us, we just have to have conscience a bit. It's like we are dead to some of these wrong things in this country. We don't care what happens. We don't care if my sister defecates here and I'll just pass by and go. Because you don't want somebody to give you name, a tag. You don't want somebody to tell you you are this and you are not that. And those of us who also speak, you don't even have a support. How can you have? Let me just give an example of me sitting in a trotro from a brie. You know, we sat in the car for a long time. I had to get food before it moves. Then as soon as it almost, it was left with one person. The person came, then another person came. And they felt that we shouldn't leave the person. And I said that person will not sit in the car. Because you are supposed to take 17, and it's 17 already. So why? Oh, it is nothing, blah, blah, blah. And I said, no. Other than that, the car will not move. And I'm also not getting down for someone who came late to come and sit in the car. They got the support of the passengers in the car to insult me. Who was the car? Then I want to car. I didn't know about it. But I insisted. But anytime you want to insist on the right things being done in this country, you don't get the support of people. But you do wrong. You have everybody applauding, clapping for you. So these are the things some of us will have to start doing. Because I just don't have to. How many people are watching us this morning? The market woman, maybe she's on radio. We are not on radio. The chief is maybe watching another station or listening to another thing. How many people hear some of these things we speak? Some here, they don't even care because it doesn't affect them. So they become indifferent. Or if it affects them in a while, I'm able to get out of my house because in my area, I'm like, each one for himself. God for us all. You see people doing things and they don't care what happens to their neighbor. And you ask yourself, a man who even made this flat thing started, you have built your house, walled it, and said there's a land beside you. An engineer has advised you, if you want your place secure, then you should wall that place too, and make sure that it is solid. Is it your own? But because you are thinking of your own, the rest of us can perish. So I'm begging Ghanaians, we are not here to make sure, blame anybody for anything. We ourselves as Ghanaians are the cause of the problems we are going through. Okay. So what do? Our chiefs, the clergy, those who have voices in the society, can we sit with the government? The planning committee, I think the National Development Planning Committee had been inaugurated. So we should sit with them. This area, this is what we want. Now, you see new areas come up. They don't even have facilities for recreation and all that. But all those things have to be part of the planning of a place.
Our gift, and he has immediately sued. But the same person was on radio in opposition, talking whatever he wanted about everybody. So let's try to maintain some integrity if you expect to do. So if you have list of people you claim have bought lands, they bring it. Now you're in government, take it to court and have it done. But don't come and sit here and seek to use that as an argument when you don't have any facts to support that claim. You don't have any evidence to support that claim. You are in government now. If you believe somebody has done something wrong, go and attack the person. Don't come and sit here and use it for parliament. Because lamentations do not fix problems. So you can sit here and lament for 2 hours.
I will please allow her.
It will not fix any problem. I think it is very strange.
But I asked her to stop, so please stop.
It's very strange that you would come and then seek to absolve the government of responsibility. We do agree that a lot of these things fall on the individual. I think I've sat here before with you and was at Amoakoh talking about on the road to my house, someone that has blocked the road. We had that conversation. All these things are important, but you have the will and the responsibility of the people to get things done. That's why I'm saying you can't just sit here and wish that people don't do these things. You can't just sit here and wish that people don't go and sit on the streets and sell. It has become culturally part of our activity. People do things anyhow. Anybody that buys a land and goes to Lands Commission, they give you that plan. You see where the road is, you see water is, where water is. That is already institutionalized. It is just not enforced. So it is your responsibility, again, as a thinking government, to put on your thinking cap and evolve and come up with better solutions to the problems we have. It's not a matter of lamentation. If it's that, then almost anybody is fit to be in government, because Ghanaians I think one of our special skills is to be able to properly complain about things. So that is not what is required to be in government. What makes you different is your ability to sit down, look at the whole thing and come up with solutions. That's what's expected from you, not who started it and what not and when. And I think that's about all I want to say about the matter. It's already been thoroughly discussed. I hope that they come up with a proper plan and strategy that is devoid on counting on the responsibility of citizens, which you know that you don't have to be able to solve the problem. It's simply not going to work. So I do hope that they are able to come up with something from their task force that is just finding out data that's already on paper somewhere, if that's truly what it is, to just identify flood prone areas, because this is already documented somewhere on a paper. So I refuse to believe that that's the full remit of the task force. But again, let's give them some time and see if they are able to come up with something actionable. So we'll leave that there.
Okay, let's talk about the city, the city's appreciation against the dollar. Dr. Bawumia says that the NDC should not take credit for that. But why shouldn't the NDC take credit, Doc?
It's very interesting. This matter about the city, and I can almost preempt what angle would be taking about seeking to take credit for the good and whatnot. But this matter is a fact-based matter. This is something that you come to the table with facts and evidence, because all these things are properly documented. So if something was done by the previous administration and is now yielding fruits, I think it doesn't take anything from you as a current government to own up to it and say, okay, you might have done so and so wrong, you might have angered Ghanaians, but on this note, you did this. That is so good that we are going to continue. It doesn't take away from you. In fact, I think it will add some more poise to whoever says that, instead of this intellectual gymnastics they are playing all over the place. Because on one note, you hear the NDC attribute the city's current performance to a few things. They attribute it to some external factors, the ability, the gold, and I've heard them say fiscal responsibility. But to me, again, that is the quickest one to fall flat, because your budget was passed somewhere in March, isn't it? We haven't had time for those fiscal measures to be actioned for us to see the results of that, if that truly was causing so it would definitely come to the external factors and the dollar. And as a member of Dr. Bawumia's campaign last year, I think I'm uniquely placed to talk about this matter. Because even as of last year, this is something Dr. Bawumia was passionately advocating. It will surprise people that there was even pushback from within his own government on this matter. But he believed in it strongly, because when we went into the crisis and then the city was in free fall, another thing people do not look at is the performance of the city and the performance of the economy in the first term of the MPP government, before we hit the universal cost of living crisis. That is when we were required to put on our thinking caps. And then he realized that as Ghana, a gold producing country, why do we have, I think we had less than a very small tonnage of gold, less than 8 tons, if I'm not wrong on that matter. Then he looks at the UK has about 8,000, America has over 10,000. It looks like all these established countries have like large tonnage of gold. That's surprisingly, they have to buy and import from other places. So we, a very large gold producer, why do we not have that? So he starts the domestic gold purchase program to start buying gold locally, so that we can use it for reserve, use some to offset oil and all of that. It is met by a ridiculous amount of pushback from the then opposition. So that's what makes this whole matter funny, because the fact that you criticized it a few years ago means it is fresh in your mind. You are aware of it. You know what this man went through to set this thing up. And to the point that we were able to accumulate over 30 tons of gold to the tune of about 9 billion. Yesterday, I was quite happy that His Excellency GHOne Mahama even admitted it, and I saw Joy News make an article about it. He admitted that they inherited $9 billion worth of gold as reserve. So shouldn't that settle the matter? What else is done? Since they came into government, they haven't added up to a ton of gold to our reserves. So by what stretch of the imagination do you then say that the progress of the city is attributed to gold by some miraculous gold that fell from heaven and not the one that the Bank of Ghana had accumulated? To me, it's neither here nor there. And their deliberate attempt to try and circumvent the truth is what is causing the problem. We are not saying that all of the credits can be given to us. Obviously, we are out of government and you've been handling things for a while. But you cannot also remove the efforts and that's singular initiative of backing the city with gold and take it away from the person that thought of it and started implementing it. Other countries, even in Africa, have gone the extra mile to try and adopt this policy, and they credit Dr. Bawumia. But in your own home, there's this true proverb that says a king is, you are not really appreciated in your, celebrated in his own. Namibia has started, and their news that they are crediting who started champion, because he didn't start championing it today when the city started stable. It's something that he has been talking about for over 2 years. There are videos of this. There are videos of him speaking passionately about what he wanted to achieve with this. So it's indisputable. Burkina is also doing the same thing and attributing it to the man who set it up. So to me, it's neither here nor there. There's no discussion or debate about this matter. It is clear. We are not saying that obviously now you are managing it. It looks like they are moving away from the more responsible and manageable way of trying to build up the reserves, and they are selling it to manage the gold. That's a decision by them. So that's something that we will not be able to take credit for. But you cannot say that the city's performance is because of the performance of gold and then seek to discredit the person that started accumulating these gold reserves. It's as simple as that. It doesn't kill you to give credit where credit is due. I'm quite happy that they've actually continued with this thing, because even during the campaign, that was one of the things I was the happiest at discussing, because I felt deeply that it was one of the things that could really change the landscape of our country. Because it seems so simple that why hadn't it been done? I remember I was talking to a few bankers on the issue, and that was the sentiment around the table at that time, that this thing seems like it's so basic that we should have done it a long time ago. But unfortunately, we did not do it till someone came along. It's not even like this someone, it started when he was in opposition. Something happened to precipitate him to think about this thing. It's akin to the apple falling and inspiring Einstein to think about gravity. So something happened to get him to get to the point where, we have this, we have that. This is a solution. So again, to my brothers and sisters on the NDC, it doesn't take anything away from you to admit the way your leader, your president himself has admitted that, okay, you guys left us $9 billion worth of gold reserves, and it's going a long way to give stability to our currency. It doesn't take anything from you, and that's a fact. It's undisputable. I don't think anybody here this morning will be able to provide evidence to the contrary, because we have the list of every time that gold was accumulated by BOG, it is noted down. These are not things that are done in secret or in vacuum. It's something that people know. In fact, last year, it was even used as propaganda against Dr. Bawumia that he was in bed with some Pakistan. I don't know if you heard that story, and they were selling that. There was some ridiculous, this man championed it so much that it was used against him. Something that we are all now benefiting from was used against him on the path of propaganda. And now you want to turn around and behave brand new about the situation. I really do not see how that is being done. And I'm quite happy that His Excellency GHOne Mahama yesterday came clean, and as a noble gentleman, like he was honest about it. And that's how we should be.
I'll come back to you for your comment, but I need to take this quick break. When I return, we'll talk more about Dr. Bawumia telling the NDC not to take credit for the city's appreciation against the dollar. We're back shortly.
GHOne OV van has been one of the best vans I've used personally in this country. It runs a system where we are able to run on Dante to be able to do our broadcast mixed well also from this van.
I've used this OB van for quite a number of big productions, i.e. 3 music awards, the late President Rollis' state funeral, Emmys Africa Awards, and a number of them.
My experience with the GHOne van has been the state of the art equipment they have. Personal experience is you can use it for both indoor and outdoor, all events, conferencing, like anything you need a van to work for you, GHOne provides it.
My experience with the van has been very good. Why? Because it has a number of facilities that I may not get in other vans. You know, the van has a very wide bench that can accommodate all my technical crew, ICC, switcher, graphics, CG, and all of that. And then it also has a studio, a green room studio that comes with TriCaster. So if you want somebody to do commentary on a live event, you can put that presenter who's in that studio as well and get that running.
To give an experience to our audience, we're also watching on TVs and online. Work with an Exo technology system, which makes your video mixing with Panasonic cameras, like a lot of other stuff in terms of content you need to get also for your live broadcasts.
I prefer the GHOne van to a lot of other vans I've used, or even doing my own setup on a tabletop setup. Because on a production, you see a number of people in the van. And so if you have a very small van, it means that it's going to be choked, and that will affect the creativity as well. The price has been discounted as well to accommodate varied budgets. And so no matter the budget you have, I understand you can have the truck and do business with it.
It looks huge, but very affordable. Cost is really, really affordable. My experience with this EMI Awards last year, super excellent. Try it, call them, and I'm going to give you the best of price. Really affordable.
welcome back to the show. This is still GH here on GHOne TV, and it's still the breakfast with you. The ladies are still in the studio. We're discussing Dr. Bawumia telling the NDC not to take credit for the current appreciation of the cedi against the dollar. Now the cedi is trading at 12 cedis, a little over 12 cedis against the dollar.
Thank you. I don't know what he's talking about. You know, I said earlier that they always want to take the good, but the bad they don't want to be associated with. So if you didn't cause problems for flooding, for decongestion and all that, but you cause the good for cedi depreciation, how does it vary? This is just an issue of a joke. Do you understand? A man who said he bought gold but took a liter of fuel to how many? 16 cedis, and took the exchange forex to 17 cedis in this country. And you are coming to tell us what? After buying the gold, why were you not able to bring fuel down? Why were you not able to also bring the forex?
But the cedi came down to 14.
To 14 when? And we went when?
No, at the beginning of when we started this year, the cedi was trading at 14 cedis, and now we're at 12.
So I'm asking a question. A man who said he bought gold for oil, but took a liter. That's people normally don't get the liter; they think it's gallon. That's a beer bottle, a bottle of beer, that green one. Yes, took it to 16 cedis. When a gallon then was being bought at how much? They told us we were incompetent in this country. You bought gold for oil, and this is where you brought it. This is where you brought the forex. So if you couldn't take blame for the other things, why are you taking credit for this one? I've said that the MPP is always good when they are in opposition, so it's good we always keep them there. Because we saw the kind of lectures that went on prior to 2016 election in this country, the economic voodoo, that we were thinking that as soon as they come into power, we just put some talisman on the floor and the economy will just shum, and the cedi would have gone to 1 cedi then. But here we are. Cedi was at 3 point something, almost 4 cedi. Let's say 4 cedis. They brought us to, if you say 14 or 15 cedis, because I remember buying one at 15 cedis. And if someone...
I am talking about December, January.
No, I understand you. Yeah, December, I bought, I think January. I bought 15 cedis. So if you are now saying they shouldn't credit us, who should they? You. Who, after all the lectures, saw that it was just textbook economics you were doing. You couldn't bring any change. You couldn't bring the dollar down. The dollar that you said you locked and gave the key to the IGP. When the IGP was going, he left with the dollar. He left with the key. And so the dollar with a long hand was able to break jail. And that's where we got to a point we have to buy a dollar at 17 cedis in this country. Under you. When someone have decided, let me tell you the truth, the gold they bought, yes, it's true. Our president is not that, he doesn't have integrity issues, so he's always honest, open and accountable to the people. That's why when he's saying something is bad, you should take it. When he says something is good, he's a gentleman. As soon as he says that things are bad, you start insulting and giving him names. Hey, double standards, pa. We beg. But this government have made sure that the gold that is there had not been touched. So I am telling you the appreciation of the cedi. The gold had not been touched. They can fact check. They still have access to the ministries, wherever. They can go and check. The gold has not been touched. And I heard her say that we've not added any ton. By December, by last month, we have added 1 ton from the gold board.
Okay.
So you can't speak politics and say nothing has been added to the reserve. We have made sure that instead of touching the gold, we have unprecedented be adding up to it, so that through the Bank of Ghana and the gold boy buying on behalf of Ghana, Bank of Ghana, they add up to what is in England. So we have more. And if you are selling rather, are you not going to make more of, especially the dollar? Well, because we are looking at the dollar in this context and not any other currency. We are making sure that we are now rather, instead of touching the one that is there, we are not touching it. And no, if the MPP wants to behave as if it was their time they started putting gold in the reserve, it's laughable. And they are not being truthful to Ghanaians. This thing has been accumulated over the years. And through the gold board, we have started, let me even read a report from my boss, Sami Jemfi. He said, under this program, 20% of the gold output of 7 large-scale mining companies in Ghana. Okay, let me start from the beginning. The Bank of Ghana builds gold reserves through the gold for reserve, that's a G4R program. Under this program, 20% of the gold output of 7 large-scale mining companies in Ghana is bought by the Bank of Ghana in a form of bullion, refined gold, outside the country. The physical gold is then added to Bank of Ghana, Ghana's reserve at the Bank of England. It is instructive to know that before 2022, Ghana had a little over 80 tons of gold reserves. Eight at the Bank of Ghana. This reserve shows that gold reserve accumulation by the Bank of Ghana was not introduced by Dr. Bawumia, as the MPP and their media surrogates want us to believe. Bank of Ghana has been accumulating gold reserve a long time before Dr. Bawumia became the vice president. So I don't know why he even wants to take credit. If things are done properly by people, you just have to appreciate the fact. I remember 2017 on one of the sister stations, they were like, we should look at how STC is doing. They came and they are doing well. How are they leaving STC? Before we left STC, we gave them passes. We made sure the STC was doing so well. So they go to STC, they have to now go and borrow, if I should use that word, in quotes, people's cars to. When you are in a hurry, don't try and go to STC to travel. Or if you want to go for a serious business, STC is not the place. Meanwhile, that was the number one place people were going. There was no day I went to Takrady or Lubo and I don't use STC. Today you can't use them. So when anytime MPP is in opposition in the power, they want to take the glory for something they have not done. Every time. So if someone has decided, you bought gold, yes. But were you able to use the gold for anything meaningful? Never. Nothing happened like that. We came and we have put on the thinking cap they couldn't use. And they are asking someone to use. Put on an economic thinking cap. When we don't have economic messiah voodoo in the party. They brought up economic team, laughing at the NDC, that we don't even know the names of our economic team. What did we get in this country? Every institution now is down below the average. Everything is sports. A friend told me, I say abrewa nkwanya enyinya. You have to eat it. That is how they left the economy of this country. And you are sitting here telling us we shouldn't give you credit for what? We should give the credit to who? This is what the NDC have done. And we are taking all the credits because they couldn't do it. If they had any idea how to do it, they would have done it. So when you want to sustain accumulation of the forex dollar by the Bank of Ghana on unprecedented gold purchase. Simple. It's as simple as that. So we are begging Dr. Bawumia. I'm happy he has started his lectures again. But it won't take him anywhere. And now Ghanaians should listen and listen carefully. These people are good when they are in opposition. They know all the theories. They know all the gimmicks. They know all the corners. But when you give them, it's about them, their personal lives, their personal everything. They don't care about this nation. Because it is book. They just go read book, go write exams and pass. And they don't have anything when it comes to practicals. So they will not give you anything good. And they have never done it. At least we saw it in the 8 years of the MPP in power. What were they able to do? They gave us all the promises. How incompetent the NDC was, and the former president and now the president of the nation. But they came, and what was the competence? Which institution? They look at the ministers we are even governing this nation with. 56. Over 125 ministers. Ministries cut all over this country. What were they able to do for us as a people? Nothing. They did not carry the gold anywhere. They couldn't give us any lower what is it, dollars or any currency. So please, it's all time okodua no is in America. Even if you have not seen anything, people in the market are seeing. People at home are seeing. Now you are going to those things. Dollar is now 12 cities. Hey, I thought it was 12.40. As I yesterday.
It was 12, now 12.2.
12.2. And you are here crying like a baby. You should continue whilst we work. The thing is, the president promised you that we were voted for not to come and complain. And like she said, to come and lament. We are working and we will continue to work. Every country that is, which country is calling here, they want to do this, they want to do that. This is not the first time any country is coming to Ghana to copy anything. And unfortunately, you will realize that they will be doing better than the one who started it. And that's the MPP for you. So we don't even want to listen to what they are saying. We are still working. Why didn't you go down under them? I'm just praying that the economy will do well, and Ghanaians will all feel it in our pockets. As I yesterday or 3 days ago, the president said he has taken VAT out of insurance for drivers.
There was never VAT on insurance.
There wasn't VAT on insurance, so the president is lying. We are not liars like you.
It was never collected.
So if it wasn't collected, that was your business. So we have taken it out. Okay. How can you put something, you tell us you put something? That's what they said when the former minister came and said that they never collected betting tax. So how can we even trust you people? You said we have never collected betting tax. When those people who go to bet, they saw their monies being taken. And E-Levy 2 was taken when betting tax 2 was also going. And you sit there and telling me that it was never collected. If it was never collected, so how come we are taking it? Okay, we have taken it out. If you now wanted to collect it, we have taken it. When was it not collected? Betting tax, you say you have not collected. But you did collect it. His deputy even came and corrected it. So don't sit here when you don't even know what you are talking about. You say we never added a ton. But I'm telling you, from my boss, Sammy, they have added a ton to the reserves within this short time. How many of the tons were they able to add?
Okay.
So please, they should even relax, because we are now going to give them proper economy. Proper economy, not the textbook one, not the ones we stand on platform and lecture. Then we are done. Now you are faced with the situation. You give us a mess.
Spending when we start servicing our debt, are we also going to be seeing?
They were not servicing debt.
No, we've not started servicing debt, and we've not started spending. I mean, even with the various assemblies, they've now been they now have confirmations. When we start spending, are we still going to see the Cedi at 12 cities, or even go lower?
Go lower, my sister.
They will go
because lower? They were not spending. They were not servicing our debt. So they even took our monies, gave us beautiful and nasty head cards in this country. People died because of those things. They were not servicing debt when we were expecting our economy to do well, because we're not paying. Anybody even took from us all those ones. And so why didn't they do well? They didn't just know how to do it.
Okay.
And we are showing them how to do it. So they should go
if at any point the Cedi depreciates against the dollar, will that be the conclusion that you don't also know what you're doing?
It won't. We are just praying that all of us as a people, we come together and we are putting good measures, not the textbook one, in place, so that we make sure that this is not a yesterday somebody was giving and he was in here. No, we have Oxford students, if I should put it out, a minister. We are making sure that it's not for the NDC. We are resetting. It's for Ghana to make sure that Ghanaians, myself and you go to the pumps. It's still coming down. You go, you have dollar. Now it's all the case whereby they send you $100 and you are going for over whatever. No. we are making sure that we are going to compete on the market. We don't take plenty money to just go and get something small. And that was what was killing us. And today we are trying to cushion it. We should give you credit for what did you do. At least your works should show. The Bible says that your works will follow you. Abi? So which work is following him now? Which one did he follow? The dollar that he said he locked up, or the key that was left for the dollar to pick?
Okay.
We are begging him. The lectures should stop. He should now come and sit and rebrand his party. The insult will not take them anywhere. The way they are showing so much disrespect to people, and even in opposition to Ghanaians. When you are even talking to them, they are looking down upon you. They should rebrand themselves and make sure that they put themselves and make themselves a nice and a beautiful alternative. For now, dear, they are not. Nobody even wants to. You go on the streets. Listen to people on the streets and they will tell you. So they shouldn't tickle themselves, thinking that maybe now they have their ex-gracias they took home, so they are chopping small. But before the ex-gracia is so, they won't even feel it, because the economy will do well and they themselves will feel it. They themselves, I'm sure, when it gets to a point, they wouldn't even want to vote for their own party. Because things will be done properly, not math, not lectures,
so
not
first to dissuade, I have an insurance. Some of us pay car insurance. So when we are talking, we are not just talking out of the air. It's not on the item. It was a tax that was introduced. It was never collected. Case closed on that matter. Case closed on that matter. And you know, when I started talking, I said that the NDC would not be able to explain what has happened, what they are doing to stabilize the city. We listened here to our GHOne and segue into many other different things, because she simply could not explain what they were doing to keep the dollar stable. She read a statement from Sami Jemfi, and she did not realize that in that statement she was crediting the gold for reserve policy, which was started by Dr. Bawumia. So if you've read the thing yourself and you cannot even see that in your own statement it is there, then what is there? She's talking about, I have the gold figures here. This is a Bank of Ghana something. This 8 tons that were accumulated in this country, it was never a planned thing. It's something that BOG had since independence. Nobody sat down to accumulate gold. She's asking how many tons we added. If you look at 8 and we brought it to 30, in 2 years from 2022, we added 22 tons of gold. 22 tons of gold. When I say you haven't added even up to 1 ton, it is factual. What you've added is 0 point something. That's almost 1 ton. So let me be charitable and even give you 1 ton. So this argument we are having should be fact-based. It's a simple question of the performance of the city right now. Does it have anything to do with the domestic gold purchase program? From your own reading, the answer is simply yes. You cannot do any mental gymnastics on this matter because you simply do not have the facts to back it. It was a deliberate attempt when the whole country was going haywire to bring stability to the city. It was publicly said at that time. Then you go to gold for oil. Gold for oil was only accounting for about 16 or 17% of the payments we were making towards the purchase of gold, towards the purchase of oil, because it's not every oil producer that will accept the gold that you have. And if we remember, even when things got really high in this country, when the price of oil on the world market was very high, because of that, there was stability to the rate at which we were selling oil in this country. So when you're having conversations about things that there's evidence to, but it's not discussed in a vacuum. We can talk about the performance of the Ghanaian economy in the first term. That's the only time we recorded a single-digit inflation. We had a growth rate of almost 7%. These are the things we are talking about. So it's not just speaking on emotions and jumbling words together. We are talking about facts-based things. And nobody is saying that the NDC has not done anything at all for this. No, we are just saying that what you are doing is based on the work of someone else. So give the person credit where credit is due. You are asking how much gold have we accumulated. I've told you. And I don't think you can compare 22 to something like almost 1. Let me say, be charitable and even give you 1. How do you compare 22 to 1 as a means of doing something? If if your approach is to sell gold, even within our IMF program, there's a limit to the amount of gold you are allowed to offload. We've already crossed that threshold. These are things that economists and people that have knowledge in that field have already come to say that, you know what, it looks like if people are doing a lot to try and play with the optics of this matter, but let's be guided. Nobody is listening to that, and rightly so. All Ghanaians care about is that the dollar is coming down, but you are doing things that people are cautioning you about. You are selling gold to sort of maintain the integrity of the city, which is fine. It's your prerogative to do that, but you cannot. There's no way you can make an argument or say that we did not start this domestic gold purchase program, that through which we did not leave the country up to $9 billion of reserve, because that is what we are talking about. Dr. Bawumia's plan was not just to sell some of the gold to give some artificial beauty to the city, give artificial beauty to the city. That was not his plan. His plan was to accumulate a lot of gold over the time to the level of the pound, to the level of the dollar, accumulate thousands of gold, so that when anybody is evaluating the strength of our city over time, that backing of gold serves as a measure to give people confidence. So it's something that will last for a very long time. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, Lily. And then there's the act of selling some of it to temporarily give yourself some relief. So they are two different things. And so it does not, again, take anything away from you to stick to the facts and then talk about it. Because once you try to disprove it, your whole argument falls flat. Nothing else you say will be able to hold any water. And I don't remember a time in this country where the dollar was 17.
There was.
When?
Even in October last year. The dollar
17?
Yes. It was
then I would have really been benefited. I'll explain why later, because I never got a dollar at 17. There was a time of volatility. By the time we were handing over, it was about 14. It was about 14. That is yes, by the time we were handing over, it was about 14. But to seize their own narrative, they put a lot of things out there, and to ask why didn't it come down. And I've already explained how the gold for oil stabilized as the world crude prices were going up and up and up, and it gave us some cushion. That's the whole point of these things, to give you like a cushion, something to fall on so that you are able to operate. It gave us a cushion for a very long time. We were able to keep the prices very steady. The idea of gold for reserve too was said there. You are talking about lectures and whatnot. If you took time to listen to the lectures, you would have known that he explained this there. Most Ghanaians have had that opportunity, even at the Meet the Press. I don't know if you were there last year when Dr. Bawumia met the press before the campaign.
Okay, I don't remember that.
Yeah, I don't remember if you were there. But a journalist asked the question and he explained it. If we have time, I can send the video to your proposals so that you can see what the man, your producers, I can send it to them so that they can put it on, so that we can see what he was saying before. This is something that has been on his heart, that he goes outside the country to even explain to people. So if you have this assets at home and you take something from what he's doing and you build on it, what is the crime? And how hard is it to be a bigger person and say that, yes, go for reserve? I've even had the courage to write it in my own write-up. But just give credit where credit is due. I don't even see how this is a tussling match when your own president has already set the record straight, going on to talk about, I don't even understand. And I was very happy with the question that you asked, because I'm going to also bookmark this video later when I get home. That when the dollar starts appreciating, when Donald Trump gets his act together, the trade war has stopped, the dollar starts to appreciate.
Seemingly, has ended.
Yeah, you see, so now the dollar was also performing terribly against all the international currencies. It was performing terribly against the Swiss francs, against the pound, against the US dollar. It was performing terribly. So obviously that would also give you a competitive advantage. When they get their act together and it's doing well, you are not even accumulating enough gold, because now everybody's eyes are on it. So I don't believe they are going to touch the 30 tons. So it's whatever you get that you have to sell. You will not have so much to sell to be able to do this magic. The government starts spending. I don't want to preempt, but something will happen, and then we'll play our video to her that as soon as the Cedi starts to, the dollar starts to appreciate against the Cedi, it means you are incompetent and you failed and you don't know what you are doing. Without paying attention that these are very complex factors, the dollars to Cedi is not controlled by just one thing. It is a myriad of things that contribute to it. And so you might be able to do that. Something out of your control gets the thing out of. So I will not hold you strongly to it. But you yourself have put yourself in a box today to say that once that happens, it means you don't know what you are doing and you are incompetent. So we'll remind her of that day.
Reminding me wouldn't be an issue because they told us we're incompetent because the dollar was at 3.8. 4 cedis, and so this one for me is a joke. And what difference will it make? Am I a vice president who said you arrest the dollar? So you are going to put me in a box for what? That's your business anyway. But which one is important? Accumulating physical gold reserves so that we pay dollar 16 cedis, or making sure that we do the right thing and get our thing so that our businessmen and women too will now enjoy trading outside. So which one is important? What is the cry for? What is the issue? What is the plenty talk for? For me, I don't get it. Things are doing well. All you have to also say, be the bigger person and tell us that you have done well, you are doing well, continue. Do it this way. Okay, if you need advice, if you need advice, you can come to me. We can sit down and judge of. Meanwhile, you didn't do well. So why would I even want to come to you? I want to come to you when you are doing well in your marriage, when I'm having crisis, isn't it?
Sure.
But I see you doing bad in your marriage. How will I bring my marriage crisis to you? Do I want to be like you? Or worse? So sometimes some of the advices, they should give it to themselves. It will help us. Accumulate, put down, and we suffer. Accumulate or sell. Make sure you are using it for the benefit of the people. Why did God give us gold in this country? So that we'll also be well off. We'll also be good as Ghanaians. So there's plenty talk. Me, I don't have issue with their stage of. Me, I want them to stay in opposition because they do well when they are there. They always want to speak all the jargons. They tell you worse things, but they come and it's like, they just blow air. So they should continue. And Ghanaians are not taking them serious anyway. Now when they look, the last time I saw this thing, go and look at the comments under. Sometimes it hurts because it's on an international platform. And this is our former vice. Do you understand? So sometimes we should also just know that we are not doing this for ourselves, our party, and it's not a personal thing. For the nation Ghana. Don't go and be blaming. How did you do? How did you perform? Is the standard. It's the yardstick. The way you insulted somebody, called someone names. How best or how well did you do in that same area you called the person names? You didn't do well. This never went well. And that's what we are talking about. And you go and stand on international platform and you want to make us a laughing stock. That's what we are talking about. Because when you look at the comments, it's not only Ghanaians who are reading it. People are reading it, and they will know that we are not serious people. So if you want to behave properly in opposition, do that. And it's early days.
What is your definition of behaving properly in opposition? Is an opposition party not supposed to keep you on your toes?
Oh yes, we need them. But these ones, they are not behaving properly. Because even the press conferences they have, let their nose stop running. They have its NDC. Just few months. When you were calling everybody's bluff, some few months ago, you never knew you'd be in this position. We are not here thinking that we have it all, or we have some magic as they made us believe, because their economic team was one of the best. But here we are today. Their own people are even against them. How is
who and who?
The NPP. How did Thanksgiving?
Thank you to.
Thank you to. How did it even go? They weren't insulting their elders. They weren't fighting themselves. They weren't saying things. They didn't have insult indirectly. If I sit here, I don't have to call you for me to insult you.
Hold on. If you say insult their elders, who insulted which elder?
I gave you an example. Insulting Kennedy Japan. And he was giving him a small shoulder.
That was not on the thank you tour. That was aftermath. I mean, I saw videos.
No. They were sitting at the thank you. They were speaking to the people. The first one, the showdown. The one Kennedy used the showdown. So some of these things.
But if somebody uses innuendos, are those insults?
sometimes, you know, some of the things are insults. That's why sometimes I don't take kindly to waste.
Okay.
You don't have to call me a fool to know that, for me to know that you're insulting me.
Okay.
If you are telling me I should put on my thinking caps, what are you telling me? Meanwhile, you didn't have one. Do you understand? If you had one, Ghana would have done better. Okay. You wouldn't have lost elections miserably. Ghanaians wouldn't have thrown you out with the baby with the water in it. Do you understand? So sometimes I don't have to call you a fool. So we should know how we talk, especially when you have a bigger platforms like this. Okay. And people are watching. Discerning ones are listening to us. Sometimes I don't like going on certain tangents, but it's some way, and some people, it has become their speciality. Anytime they meet you, they just want to use words on you. Do you understand? So, Dr. Bawumia, we don't have any issues with him. He didn't do well. So we don't need him telling us what to do. If he has any advice and it's good, he knows the quarters to go to. All of them, they have access to our ministers. I'm sure nobody will stop Dr. Bawumia from going to the Flagstaff House if he so wishes. I want to meet the president. They will give him the chance. I want to meet the vice president. He should go and sit down, whatever ideas he has. But going out there making a mockery out of your own statements and all lectures, it won't take us anywhere. He should enjoy his opposition. It's even not 1 year. And look at how jittery they have become. Look at how they are behaving in this country already. The dollar will do well, and we are praying. I always say that when we leave the God factor when it comes to politics, it also hurts us. We are also praying, and we ask the men of God, the Muslim clergy and all that, to support us in prayer. Because for me, as a Christian, I know some of these things, they work. And give our leaders, even the Bible says we should pray for our leaders. Because as they have peace, we also do. Me, even in opposition, I pray for them. Because if they don't do well, like they did, we all got messed up. Now you can't pay rent because your landlord will tell you when they want to do renovation, they won't go back and buy cement or iron rods or whatever building materials at the price they bought it. It was because things went bad. Do you understand? Why will rent just every year landlord just wants to take rent to that's but
that particular conversation is something probably maybe in the coming
we have to
because I mean if my landlord calls me that I am increasing your rent next year. Probably I've lived in that house for like 4 or 5 years, and I'm wondering what renovation. And very often, when people live in homes, they do every renovation that's done by yourself. They tweak things themselves. So I am wondering, if you say dollar has gone up, what did you do in the house? Did you build a new foundation?
They claim the value of the property has gone up, which is not right. I mean, the value of the property has gone up. Some if they were renting it out to someone else at that time, it would have gone for that price. That's usually the mentality for some of these increments. And let me just quickly wrap up on a few things.
Please, I'm not done.
Okay.
I'm not done.
Oh, but I've given you enough time.
No, you came in, that's why I was quiet. So let me finish.
Please land.
And me, what I want the Bank of Ghana to do when it comes to this dollar thing is the schools, the hotels, and all those people who wants to be charging dollars. They should descend seriously on them. This is Ghana. Our currency is Cedi. We don't even.
We're even paying Black Stars in dollars, so.
No, there should be a way out. Maybe, I'm not saying because we've not paid any of them yet as we are in power, but maybe because most of them are play out, so they take their whatever in dollars or foreign currencies. But if you are working in Ghana, even if you're a foreigner, this is our nation. We are a sovereign nation and we have our currency. You can't be charging us. Even Mauritania here, at the airport, you have to change their money. To buy water, we couldn't get. You can't go to Dubai and go and use dollar there. Maybe some of the hotels. But I remember we bought a food at a restaurant. They made us change the money there. They had a forex there. And we changed the money to pay. So some of this thing, Kenya even have this thing. The Bank of Ghana should descend on these people and make sure that we are doing the right thing. We are not taking this dollar equivalent. No. It's the same thing.
Okay.
If it's Cedi, it is Cedi. If I come and it's 100 and I can afford it, I go for it.
Okay.
If it's 10 cedis, I can go for it. But it shouldn't be dollar equivalent of
all right, thank you.
So I think I can see I have about 3 minutes. So I just saw a flyer by Dr. Bawumia. The NDC cannot name even one policy of theirs that has led to the city's appreciation. It's the same question I've asked my dear sister Awoh here several times, and every time she's unable to answer, and she segues into some propaganda, which is absolutely fine. Because if you claim that it is you that is doing it, you should be able to explain why. And if you understand just a little about the microeconomics and the city management, you know it's not as simple as just selling the dollar. Having the reserve plus selling the dollar plus what is happening with the dollar and other factors is what will contribute for it to drive down. So if you had no reserves, when we had a reserve of 8 tons, we also had the habit of offloading dollars sometimes, offloading gold sometimes to try and maintain things. It will not work as rapidly if you haven't built the reserve. That is why there's always a focus on building the reserve even over selling the dollars. So that argument is moot again, especially because the thing is, it's not your brainchild, so it will be difficult for you to go about explaining it. So I mean, I'm just going to leave that there. There's absolutely nothing. You cannot just go on with selling the dollars. You cannot take away from the man that it was accumulated and what's not. Some things went wrong in our government, which he has already come out to publicly apologize on behalf of the party, on behalf of the government, on behalf of all of us. And we've done that because we cannot claim to be gods and that everything we did was right. But the things that we did right too, I mean, we are not going to be bamboozled and name called into yielding that, because we had to push you guys. We experienced a lot of opposition from you, even when we're trying to do some of these things. So we will not now allow you to turn around and bully us on these matters. If there are things that we did wrong, that again we've already owned up to, that's absolutely different. But the things that we did right, we are not going to allow you to bamboozle us on that. So I think on that note we'll leave. And then there was something about the international conference. I don't think we were able to show Ghanaians the entire video. But after Dr. Bawumia spoke at the IDU conference in Brussels, he was the only person that received a toast and a standing ovation. So it is very easy for you to sit somewhere and look on your phone and say whatever. But the facts are the facts. And so it doesn't inure to anybody's benefit for us to sit here and intentionally denigrate someone. The Cambridge, he also went to Cambridge after Brussels. So IDU, after the presentation, even critics, very harsh critics of Dr. Bawumia in Ghana saw that video, and then you know, you might have your problems with him, but you cannot take away the fact that what he said made a lot of sense. And that was the general perception on social media on that day. And that was the general perception in Brussels. The only one to receive a toast and a standing ovation. He moved on to Cambridge to engage with them. That was even a paid engagement. It was fully sold out, again to very much acclaim and strong recognition. So I don't think it's very fair for us to sit on TV this morning and attempt to paint that in a negative light. Obviously, when he was sitting at the IDU conference, he was speaking about the growth of Africa. He was speaking about the development of Africa and his plans for how the development of Africa's economy should be. It was a plus to all Africans. It was a plus to Ghanaians. So just because you are not of the same political persuasion as him, it is not very necessary to go the extra mile to try and denigrate him on something that he did that makes all of us look good. And so, yeah, I mean, I'll leave it there. As to the matter of the dollar and whatnot, now you are in power. So we are just going to watch and see how you handle it.
Sorry, let me hold you there. I need to go to my colleague Calvin Powell as the decongestion exercise has entered day 2. Calvin Powell is our man on the ground. Calvin, good morning to you. Where are you currently and how's the exercise going? Hello, Calvin, can you hear me? Hello, Calvin, can you hear me? I'm asking, where are you currently and how's the exercise going as it's entered its day 2? Okay, unfortunately, Calvin cannot hear me, but we'll bring that to you shortly. Ekua, are you done so that we can quickly? Okay.
I just want to read something small. It says Cedi appreciation to slash Ghana's debt stock by 10%.
Okay.
Ahead of MPC meeting. So at least we're making headway.
Okay.
If 10% of our debt stock is going after bonds and all that haircuts, then we know by God's grace things are getting better.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Dr. That's Kekeli Adubia. She's a member of the NDC communications team, and Dr. Amoakoh is a member of the NPP communications team. My name is Lily Mohammed. I am back after this breather. Please stay tuned in.
Wakoto Mompano.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, welcome back to the show. This is still GHOne here on GHOne TV. I am Lily Mohammed, and we go to the church this morning. My guest is a Reverend Minister. He's been doing kingdom business for about 40 years. That's a long time coming. How has it been? We'll find out from him. Reverend Ekua is my guest. Good morning, Rev. How are you?
Good morning, my dear. I am blessed and I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. And how are you?
I'm doing awesome too. And thank you too for asking.
Yes.
40 years in ministry. How has it been?
I was asked the same question just a little while ago. It's been exciting. It's been rewarding. It's been a blessing. But it's also been living life. And I say this because sometimes when you deal with ministry or faith, whether it's the Christian faith, I'm sure you know the Muslim faith as well, but the Christian faith, particularly the charismatic Pentecostal, a persuasion, we don't see faith or ministry as also as part of life. We sort of see them as two separate, So I said this so I can, put it in context that when I say ministry has both been rewarding, challenging, and all of that, you also learn to live life. I mean, you are living life with the principles, the values, the truths of Christ. But it's life. You deal with life like the guy hustling, as a hawker trading on the sun. You also deal with the pressures, of life in your space at your level. You may be in an air condition, but you may be sweating in it because it's the attendant challenges that go with who you are and where you are. And so, yes, ministry has been everything about it. And life, you get both. You get the bitter, you get the sweet, you get the ups, you get the downs. Anybody who tells you that faith, as in, the Christian faith walk or life or ministry is all beautiful, they are not telling you the truth. So
really, it's not it's not all rosy.
No, it's not. It can never be all rosy. In fact,
why?
Well, because as I said, you deal with life. Everything life throws at everybody, life will throw it at you. The only difference between you and everybody else is if you are learning to walk and deal with life with the principles of Christ, the truth of Christ, the value of Christ, the word of God, as you have imbibed. So I would say you are tested, your faith is tested, your values are tested, everything is tested, you are stretched like everybody else. So it is life. You have to deal with life, you have to face life, you have to engage life. So it cannot be rosy because life doesn't even promise roses. And so that is on one hand. And then on the other hand, it's not easy to be a Christian because the Christian values, which is anchored in Christ, is opposite to your natural culture, your natural thinking, your natural self. I mean, if Jesus, for example, said, forgive your enemies, that's against the culture of me being a regular human being. How can I forgive my enemy who is out to kill me? And Jesus said, pray for those who persecute you. Those you want to believe they are not part of the scriptures and they came in there by mistake, but they didn't.
How do you pray for somebody who is persecuting you, who's assaulting you?
That is what makes the Christian life really challenging and really tough and really different. That's what makes it a different life, and that's what makes it a different persuasion. And that's where if a person therefore is able to cross the barrier and push themselves with the grace that God gives, because there's nothing you do outside of grace. So the grace that Christ gives, if a person presses and push themselves, as the Apostle Paul said, we press towards the mark, this high calling, and endeavor to apply the grace of God to find the strength to do the things Christ said we should do, then we are able to. So to the question, how do you pray for that person who you know hates you? It takes God's grace. I mean, it takes God's grace. We are not perfect people, and I said that a little while ago. Neither are we called to be perfect people, but we are called to perfection as the ultimate. And really, the ultimate of all perfection is going to be when we leave this body and we get into eternity and spending eternity with Christ. Then this body itself, which is a major opposition in terms of its desires and all of that, would have been put away. The Bible said would have had a glorified body. Then you say we are in the perfect state, but until then it's war, it's a fight with yourself, it's a fight with your desires, a fight with your emotions, a fight with trying to be what Christ said we should be. It's a fight, but the Bible calls it a good fight of faith, the good fight of faith. So it is really, really the grace of God. That's why we can never be unconscious of the grace of God. And the grace of God came through the redemptive work of Christ, the ultimate sacrifice he paid, so that as we receive him, we are able to. So you also take it easy with yourself in the sense that you don't judge, you don't condemn yourself.
Okay.
Neither do you condemn anybody, but you push, you strive, and we encourage each other to strive together. And to give together. That's why you forgive. It means you give people a chance. You give yourself a chance. Because over time we all get better. And over time we'll get better. So
in your earlier submission you mentioned that doing the work of the Lord is not a rosy path. But is that what we see today? We see pastors living very luxurious lives. And so it makes it feel as though, well, that calling gives you luxury.
Well, and you'll agree with me. My first impression when I walked in and looked at you, so beautifully put together, sitting, I said to myself, wow, she is pretty, and truly you are. But I said, she looks like she doesn't have problems, or she looks like she may have a Mercedes, 450 SL. And I like the way you're laughing. Why? Because I came in with my only basis for making those judgments with the look and what I see, what I saw.
Right.
You may not have the Mercedes 500, even though I'm sure you're on your way to it. I'm glad the way you laugh. So there's a lot of what we see from the outside and the judgments we make, which if you drew a little closer and just delve deeper, you would realize is never the case. Because for most of these pastors who seem to be appearing that way, you'd be surprised at what happens in terms of the fact that people who they have spent so much time and commitment to helping by way of being there for them, ministering, praying, say concerning issues in their lives, sometimes for years, sometimes for decades, and people find solutions and they decide, you know what, I want to be a blessing to this pastor, and they do that. So these are normally the crux of the matter in terms of what explains for all of that. Now, it does not mean though that if I get a Mercedes, I remember, a very significant pastor in this nation who for his 50th birthday, now he's way over almost 20 years more, but that means almost 20 years ago, had this really, really nice, I think it was a Bentley or so, and it was so unique, just unique. And it was given to him by this Nigerian who had been blessed, and he was going to ride in it. And I asked him. I said, "So what are you going to do with it?" He said, "I'm going to ride it." I said, "Really?" But I said, so I said, but you don't have a church building yet. So if your people see you riding in this, you don't have a church building. There's a lot in, with the church that must be put together. It doesn't stop. It doesn't buy you. There's no law. But as you know, the Apostle Paul said, or as the scripture said, yes, you see, so you seem to be a preacher yourself, so you get it. So you just landed it. So it's true, all things are lawful, but they may not be helpful, they may not be expedient, they may not even be wise. So the wisdom that must accompany modesty and a certain measured approach to lavish is important. I think it's even more critical than the blessing itself. You can showcase the blessing, you can display the blessing, but greater wisdom might teach you to be measured, because it's not just you are leading people, and you are leading multitude, you are leading masses who have tied their faith to you. So even if you are putting on a $10,000 cuffling, you don't say it, you don't sound it. In any case, a $10,000 cuffling, what are you really doing with it? But if that's what you want to wear, that's fine, but you do it measured, but then while you genuinely are also interested in the well-being of your people, because at the end of the day, that's what Christ called us to. Absolutely. And in any case, Christ is our ultimate example. So we must sort of layer or put side by side and draw the parallels between Christ, not between an American preacher, but between us and Christ, who is, the ultimate example. You put me through a lot of some tough.
No, I'm just trying to find out something. Doesn't it appear that the church, I'm trying to choose my words advisedly, the church is failing in its original mandate?
I do not believe so. I know this issue has come up on, in several conversations. And again, you see, it is all from the fact that and beyond the church, I would even take it on a broader level, broader scale. You see, this country, we have become more polarized, we have become more distant, we have become more torn, we have become more overly politicized, so you can't even have conversation. And this is a country where we are having less and less and less conversation. So just as I walked in, and just by your appearance, this gorgeous appearance, I attempted to make some conclusions and judgments. But then I would be totally wrong, because you laughed it off so hard. This is what we are doing in this country, by just looking and just rushing to such judgment with things we have not even taken time to interrogate. And I will be honest with you, I find it even more saddening that the media are doing far more of that. I mean, people are shredded to pieces, people are torn to pieces, people's hard-earned reputation they've earned is just torn and thrown into shreds without people really interrogating. And sometimes people talking don't even have the capacity in terms of the knowledge base to make the judgments about the individual and the things they are being accused of. And so we end up like that. I think we need to sort of break down the walls and rebuild this community thing back together so we can engage that. And incidentally, on second thought, I'm glad we've been going in this direction, because this is what our program, Leaders in Worship, is really about, to bring together leaders at the top of policy making, decision making, so they can come together in this safe space to empower their spirituality, their personal walk with the Lord, so they can begin to even sort of create the community of partnering and networking, not just for business, even though that's one of them, but to sort of peer mentor and engage in encouraging, empowering each other and drawing from each other, because nobody can understand you better than your fellow colleague CEO who shares
no
your
one
faith.
is an island.
Indeed, indeed.
Now that you mentioned leaders of worship, let's dive into that conversation.
I'm sorry, I hope I didn't cut.
No, it's fine. I mean, it's good that you brought that up.
Yes.
Leaders in worship.
Yes.
Church leaders. Political leaders.
Yes.
Which leaders are we talking about?
Yes, we're talking about leaders in positions of major policy and decision making. Okay. So leaders across the three arms of government, leaders in the CSO space, faith leaders, traditional authorities. Okay. We're talking about private sector CEOs and C-suite leaders. We're talking about the public sector leaders, your MDs and so on. So leaders who are at the top of major policy and decision making, leaders whose decisions impact lives, affect destinies, leaders who, for example, sit in the three arms of government, whose decisions can mess you and me up for the next 4 years. If you are not fortunate and it's 8 years, it means you and I messed up. Leaders in that space. It's important we understand as a people that everything rises and falls on leadership, and it's not a simple statement. Now, they must get the bashing, and they do get the bashing across board. You were just asking about the church, and you were just asking about, faith leaders, and attempting for us to have a conversation about a lifestyle that doesn't seem to represent Christ and is not, also up to par and up to standard the way it should be. So leaders across the board must come under the scrutiny and must, be scrutinized. But then, because of the weight and the pressures that go with this path and this role, and the fact that leadership is a lonely road, and leaders grapple with so much in this solitary path, they also need the other arm, which is the empowering, the encouragement, and all of that. And that's the point of leaders in worship, bringing these individuals who occupy these roles in these specific areas and spheres I've mentioned, who will come in and then be empowered and be encouraged in this space we call leaders in worship. And if I may speak very quickly to what happens there, it normally starts with a bit of jazz just to break the ice.
Jazz?
Yes, jazz.
Okay.
Christian jazz, and a bit of good.
I was wondering.
Well, good secular jazz, because, for example, the last time we did, one guy did Let It Be, there'll still be an answer, let it be. Yes, see, so you have the voice right there. See, there you go. Okay. Now, so we did that, and that's a nice piece. And I know people wondering, what is that doing in a spiritual service? Well, it's to break the ice to begin with, and then we had a bit of hint of humor, as we call it. So a bit of, stand-up, comedy. We will not be having it this time, but we did it then. We had spoken word ministry, and then we had special song
ministry. When did you do it? First or second editions?
This was the first edition in April 2024.
Okay.
That happened at the Physicians, and the second was January this year. It happened at the Wesley Towers, and this third one is happening at the Accra International Conference Center.
That's a big.
So it is a bigger event, and we sort of, bit that gum and trust that we'll chew it. I mean, we are pushing and pressing and trusting that we'll be able to, because we believe that more leaders should be reached, and this thing should reach more leaders. So this time it's going to be that bit of jazz, but it's good jazz, and then the Bible reading exhortations, what we call scriptural exhortations. It's important because this scriptural reading exhortations is done by the leaders to each other. The point of that is most of these leaders, because of the busy schedules and all the attendant pressures and stress and all the challenges that go with it, some don't really own their spirituality anymore. They've outsourced it either to some prophets, some bishops, some pastors, maybe even to their own pastors. There's nothing in the New Testament that allows you to outsource your personal relationship with the Lord even to your pastor. You must own it yourself. Your pastor encourages and empowers you to live your own Christian life. So the point of not bringing any pastor or bishop or anybody to come do the speaking, but for them to do the exhortation which they read, because it's scripted, to each other, is to sort of reinforce the point that as a leader, as a CEO, at the level of the three arms of government, you have to own your personal walk with the Lord. As a starter. Every other thing else that comes in is just help and support. So that is done intermittently with music. This time it will be done intermittently, with a bit, more of the Christian jazz, and then we'll come to the main worship time, which will be led by myself and Sandra Houston Kelly from Ghana and Jumbo Anyebiet from the USA on the trumpet. And it will be a corporate collective time. It will not be individuals ministering. It will be a collective time, a teamwork together. So it will be very special, very special. But the point is that leaders will feel empowered. Leaders will feel spiritually energized, rejuvenated, refreshed in their personal relationship with the Lord, because at the end of the day, it's your best fallback. Because in this solitary part of your leadership, even your spouse may not get it, except the Lord who you serve.
Absolutely. You mentioned it's happening at the Accra
International Conference Center. It's Friday the 6th of June.
June is special to me.
June is special.
It's my birth month.
It's your birth month.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
If I may ask, what day is that?
14th June.
14th June.
Yes.
Okay. So it happens just 12 days. 14th will be 8 days.
Yes.
Right. That's wonderful. Hopefully we can come around and celebrate your birthday.
Absolutely.
Yes. So it's Friday the 6th of June at the Accra International Conference Center, and it's 7 p.m. But there'll be the meet and greet that starts from 6 p.m. So leaders are encouraged to come in there. We are members of Parliament who attend, and quite a number of them will be attending this time. Plus other very high profile leaders.
What time does it start?
It starts again, as I said, it's 7 officially, but it's the gates open at 5 and 6 there's the meet and greet. So 6 to 7 is the meet and greet, but the focus of it is to come and empower your personal walk with the Lord, your personal relationship with the Lord. And then hopefully, if I may say this, we want to see it progress into building a community of partnering and peer mentoring and networking, because we need that for nation building eventually. So it's the spirituality enrichment, it is progressing into the partnering and the networking, and then eventually conversations about nation building. And
is it open to the public?
No, it's open to this specific group of people. From the next year, we'll be doing one that's also open to the public. But this one is for this specific group, so therefore you have to register.
How do people register? It's free?
Yes, it's free. But you have to register. Well, you go to the website, and then on the flyers, if you see it, or the Leaders in Worship website, or the Amoakoh Ministries website, and it's there. Or if I could give you a number, it's 0244-851-674. Again, 0244-851-674. And that's for the RSVP, and to, if you need help for registration. So that will be a great time. We trust the Lord, because we spend time praying towards it, and we want leaders to be empowered, because when leaders are empowered and encouraged and make the commitment to Christ and his values and his principles, then this nation, we are sure, can be built. Because the story of every nation who have been transformed and have been built has been based on the fact that they committed to values, they committed to principles, they committed to Christ, who is at the heart of these values.
So if you're a leader out there, please subscribe to this. Just go and register and attend. I mean, Rev has given us snippets of what will happen, but you need to be there. Thank you very much, Rev.
Thank you
It's been
so much.
very, very great having you.
Thank you for having me.
You're
Thank you
most
so
welcome.
much. And happy birthday in advance.
Thank you. So that's Reverend Ekua from Ekua Ministries. We've been discussing leaders in worship. It's happening Friday, 6th of June, 2025, 7 p.m. at the Accra International Conference Center. 6 p.m. For meet and greet, but 7 p.m. we start the event proper. So please be there and let's build our nation together. Let's do some celebrations now, shall we? A glorious happy birthday. Milestone as well. We say congratulations to you from us and the entire team. I always say this, I just sit here and do the talking because I'm a talkative, but the real work goes on behind the scenes. My producers, directors, camera, sound, lighting, floor, everybody plays significant roles in what we bring to you on air. My name is Lily Mohammed. Have a great day. I'll see you next week Monday. Bye for now.
GHOne OV van has been one of the best vans I've used personally in this country. It runs a system where we are able to run on Dante, to be able to do our broadcast mixed well also from this van.
I've used this OB van for quite a number of big productions, i.e. 3 music awards, the late President Rollis' state funeral, Emmys Africa Awards, and a number of them.